Alright guys, welcome. Welcome ladies and gentlemen, witches and wizards, to Wizarding Wars number 21. We have got some revival games tonight, which is what we've kind of been watching for these past few weeks as the tournament has been going on. Trying something a little bit different today with a simultaneous stream to YouTube as well, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully this will just be on YouTube right away and available for everybody, and we won't have to do any kind of delay on uploading videos. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the week's games. We have got Morel versus Michael P. Let's get the names up on the screen for you guys. And it looks like it is going to be McGonagall versus Snape. Classic professor matchup here. Oh, sorry, Morel's playing as Parker. I said Michael. The other table. Okay. So it looks like we started off nice and normal here. For Morel, he just played 2 creature lessons, and he's getting ready to get to that perfect McGonagall curve where he drops down the gargoyles. We do have one of those 3-cost gargoyles in our hand. Wow, and our opponent's really going to help us out with the Colin Creevy there, because we didn't really have a good second action. But now we not only have Vanishing Step, but we have another lesson, so we might just drop the lesson. And oh, we're actually going to opt to lesson and then picking on Neville, probably targeting the Seamus. We're going to make our opponent discard their Colin Creevy and their Transfiguration lesson, I think, to keep it. No way! We chose the Colin Creevy. Interesting. Okay. I mean, hey, you know, things happen. The Colin, we already got 3 cards from it. Maybe we don't want our opponent to have any more of that card draw. I think that there are more ways to draw cards than there are things that can give you extra actions. So personally, I would have hit Seamus here. But you know what? Hitting a character either way is still a lot of value, so there's nothing wrong with that. And we drew a card that... Oh, no, sorry. That's Parker drawing a card? For why? Oh, for starting his turn. Yeah, so I think that, you know, you're a creature deck. You really want to get these down as fast as possible. I see the picking on Neville value right there. I think that if you're going to skip playing the creature, you have to hit the Seamus so he doesn't keep getting these extra actions on you. Otherwise, you just play the creature and you do that second. Okay, next turn we're going to be dropping... yeah, I mean, we're going to be in that same weird pickle, right? We're going to be playing Gargoyle and Vanishing Step next turn, probably, barring a really good top deck. Actually, we have a Dobby's here. Wait, this makes me even more upset at picking on Neville, right? Because we could have Dobbied one and picking on Neville the other one. And we're saving it, though, I get it. But just leaving the Seamus, like, letting him take that extra action just feels like something we didn't have to do. Doesn't matter, Morel's quite ahead here, as he is going to play another lesson, get up to 5. He's going to Dobby back the Colin, so he does... Or sorry, not the Colin, the Seamus. So he does get rid of Seamus anyway. Cornish Pixie is going to come down. This is pretty cool. This is a revival creature. I really like that this lets you have a little bit of counterplay on what your opponent has in their hand. You get to take a peek. You get to take 1 card and put it underneath Cornish Pixie. And it can't be used or interacted with until Cornish Pixie leaves the field. So right now, Parker's revealed the hand of Morel. Morel is kind of deciding what he wants it to be. Dumbledore Suspension is actually going to be pretty crippling if he doesn't play any Transfiguration lessons. It'll stop a lot of the Transfiguration control side of the deck. But he does need to have 1 more lesson to play it, and Morel had that knowledge that he doesn't have a lesson in hand, and that's like basically going to cause him to be an action away from getting this down anyway, so... Dumbledore Suspension isn't quite ready to come down yet, but I think it's safe to take something else. We choose to take the picking on Neville. Which I suppose, if you want the Pixie to stick, if you want the Pixie to Stixie, you're going to have to grab the picking on Neville, right? Otherwise, he's going to just picking on Neville the Pixie and get whatever else it was back. Yeah, and this is one of the reasons that I prefer the picking on Neville on the Seamus and the Dobby on the Colin, because if we had Dobbied Colin first and then we had picking on Neville the Seamus, he actually wouldn't be able to discard 2 cards to keep it. So we would have just bounced the Colin, which is more beneficial to us for him to use, and gotten rid of the Seamus, and Seamus is pretty much where all the advantage from him actually using the Colin comes from, right? We're going to use Bruisewort Balm here to shuffle 5 non-healing cards back into the deck. And you can tell that we're hurting for that card advantage as we shuffle back 2 Colin Creevies, Hannah Abbott, and some of the things. So, this is going, I mean, I think this already was in Morel's favor a little bit here, but we really, really want to see Peeves or something similar. That's not so bad. From Parker, but Parker is about to get just blasted by these creatures over time. I mean, these marble gargoyles are coming in for 10, 11. That is a crippling amount of damage. What is the Harry Potter meta like? Well, the Harry Potter meta is constantly shifting for sure. What are our chase cards? Basically anything in Chamber of Secrets. I mean, right now, Harry Potter TCG cards are chase cards. I mean, get yourself, try to get your hands on some for a normal price is a little tough. The chasiest chase card, probably Dobby's Disappearance. It's this card right here. This is the best card in the game. This is the highest, like, single price card. And this card was expensive before any cards in this game really got expensive. The reason is because, you know, everything in this game costs you an action to do, and you can go ahead and just read that last line on the card there. Just bust it. I don't know why they would do that. Pretty silly. You know what that flavor is? Do you know why this card gives you your action back? Because Dobby is a free elf. Dobby is free. But as far as meta goes, we've got a pretty standard meta strat here. This is the bread and butter of the meta, McGonagall creatures lists. McGonagall creatures lists are using the fact that McGonagall provides you a transfiguration lesson, and they're kind of abusing that to play only Care Magical Creatures lessons in their deck and have a mainly creature strategy, but they're able to still dip into transfiguration because you only need 1 power of the proper lesson in order to cast those cards. So because we have 1 transfiguration and 4 lessons that are Care Magical Creatures, we essentially have 5 of both of those colors, right? And the best creature payoff that's not in the creatures is this card right here, Steel Claw from base set. All creatures do damage to your opponent. So at the beginning of your turn, all of your creatures deal damage to your opponent. So this kind of gives you like a second combat almost. So it's just like an automatic thing. And right now, Morel up top here is totally got his thumb on Parker. He's got all of these creatures out. Parker's got to figure out a way to deal with them. Parker's got no cards in his hand and has had most of his investment in the board completely, you know, walked back. Meanwhile, every single time we go to the beginning of Morel's turn, Parker's going to take another 11 damage from these creatures. The gargoyles are an interesting kind of design where gargoyles deal more damage to your opponent if they don't have any creatures in play. So these guys look like they're just 2/3s, but they are actually 5/3s. And this isn't a 1/2, this is a 3/2. And this being a 3/2 for 3 and these being 5/3s for 5 is like the most absurd. It's just like really, really strong. Like there's no creature for 3 that comes even close to being a 3/2. So, you know, the idea is there aren't a whole lot of people who have creatures splashed into the deck because creatures are a type, just like Transfiguration and Potions and Charms and Quidditch. So if you're playing these control decks or these ramp decks, they rarely also include creature strategies. Creature decks are almost always like aggro adjacent. Have some kind of, you know, pressure. Want to get in there early. And we're seeing one of the reasons that this deck is so good is, again, you want to make sure that your opponent doesn't have creatures that reduce the damage on these, and Transfiguration or Red has the best removal for cards like bounce that card off the field, discard that card from play, and it makes sure that, you know, your creatures are always attacking at their full strength. Dobby emote when, dude, if they gave me more emote slots, I'd have some Harry Potter emotes. The way things are going, we'll never be able to sniff more emote slots because we have to break partner, and we're just never. It's not gonna happen. It's not me being down on myself. It's just because not enough people watch the games that we stream. That's all. That's the only metric that we will never meet is average viewers. Well, I guess never say never, right? All right, Bruise War Bomb coming into play again. We're just going to heal another 5. And I'll tell you, healing for 5 is all well and good, except you're taking 10 damage a turn. So, yeah, we're too indie. Yeah, exactly, we're grassroots. I think the average viewers that you need is like 75. And I would have to be streaming a Crystal Cup every week to do that. I don't think they take it away from you. Maybe we should just plan a month where we do 4 big Crystal Cups. No, they would need to be huge. They would literally need more viewers than anything we've ever done online. Not that we've never hit 75, but not consistently, not average. That's for sure. All right, looks like this game is over. Yeah, Parker just can't survive that amount of damage coming in from Morel. Really, what Parker wants to do is Parker wants to get some of his advantage down early. Things like the Colin Creevy and the Seamus, and just kind of milk that advantage out of them over time. Creatures has always been good at punching character decks in the face, or just those slow control decks in the face as they're trying to get set up. But it is Revival, which means in Revival format, these guys have a chance to sideboard. So they will be going into their little bag of tricks and seeing what they have. I would imagine that Parker's got something for creatures, because that's just one of those, you know, again, like I said, creatures is an entire type, right? It's like an element. So you just put something in your deck that's good against creatures in your sideboard, and that's pretty good. It counters an entire element. Usually people all have something in the side deck, especially if you're one of these late game decks. Do a little bit of something about the creatures. You guys solving the legend puzzle over there? I see. I know that Ricefield's popping off. All right, looks like we've decided. We've gotten ready for game 2 here. We'll see if we can turn this one around for Parker. What he's really going to want is, again, that early Seamus into Colin, but ideally with a little way to get going before our opponent gets to those picking on Neville's. He can only have 1 Dobby's Disappearance in his deck because this is Revival. Dobby's Disappearance says that you only get to put 1 copy in your deck in Revival because it's too good. We will have to play around those picking on Neville's. Looks like we decided to play Millicent Bulstrode. Millicent Bulstrode here, you know what? I don't know. I really like this here. So this is technically creature counter, right? This is an Heir of Slytherin card. Once per turn, you may use an action to do 1 damage to an opponent's creature. The thing is, there's a lot of things that don't really work out so well about this card, and they pretty much all come together to make a real big trap, right? So once per turn, that's a yikes. You may use an action, that's a yikes. And 1 damage is a little yikes. So what's funny is we didn't see a single Black Bat last game, and Black Bat is probably the only creature in Morel's deck that this card is actually decent against, that it kind of trades with. And even then, I wouldn't really say it trades with it, because this costs you 2 actions to play and an action to use. So you're spending 3 actions to kill the Black Bat that already dealt 2 damage when it came into play. I don't think this card should have had... it either shouldn't have once per turn, or it shouldn't have use an action. But, you know, that's okay. It's another conversation for another day. I think that the fact is, you know, even putting this in to counter the creature decks isn't going to counter the creature deck. And that's, like, you know, what it's supposed to do. Oh, these guys look like they're having a little bit of a voice command or voice chat issue. Alright, so Looks like they figured out their communication stuff, and yeah, we're having a nice normal slow game for both players here, and nice normal slow game is going to favor Parker typically, and certainly in a situation where Morel is so low on things to do. He's going to drop a gargoyle and a lesson next turn, although he surprised me last time, so it might just be, he might go into something else. It might go into the black bat. Nope, there's a gargoyle and a lesson. Okay, cool. Yeah, the gargoyle is just, you know, put him down, have him start churning out 3 damage over time. And now, this is where I think the trap part of this card comes in. Now, Parker draws a card and he goes, okay, the creatures are starting to come out. Well, if I'm ever going to play this, I'm going to want to start investing in that now. Oh, wow, no, he already used an action to draw a card from deck and got picking on Neville. He's going to go ahead and use that to hit the gargoyle, and we're going to choose to discard the gargoyle rather than discard 2 of our lessons. I think that's the right call. We have the substitute cat, which we can use to go ahead and get a creature. Black bats here. Actually, like substitute cat is pretty cool. It's another Air Slithering card. You can take an item or creature with printed power, cost less than or equal to the number of lessons you have in play, reveal it, and put it in your hand. You'll be able to go search out and play a black bat or a marble gargoyle if we get one more thing. And I think maybe Parker's realizing now, as all these gargoyles keep coming down, that Millicent Bulstrode actually is not going to be able to do a darn thing about it. Millicent is not going to be able to put 1 damage on this guy for 3 turns. All right, that doesn't make any sense. 5 actions to get rid of 1 marble gargoyle. Boy, howdy, the thing was, it's already going to be halfway to killing you by then. I don't think that's quite it. Ooh, this is the Leaky Cauldron. Leaky Cauldron's a neat one. Whenever either player plays a character card, they use 1 action instead of 2. If this looks familiar, yes, it's because Leaky Cauldron has the same exact effect as Ron Weasley, the starting character that got banned from Classic, or sorry, banned from Revival, that the Dark Mark team that we loved playing Ron. Ron was our baby, man. We still love playing Ron. Very fun deck. Just that kind of, that equivalent of 1 action instead of 2 on anything is really, really powerful. And sure enough, Millicent, we conned ourselves into playing the Millicent. And look, Morel doesn't even care. He's gonna just drop more black bats because the black bat's already done 2 damage. If you use an action on Millicent, oh my goodness, can you imagine? It would have been Galaxy Brain to Vanishing Step him, because then he's going to spend his entire turn undoing your black bat. Meanwhile, your black bat already did 2 damage, and Marble Gargoyle goes burr, and is dealing 5 damage a turn. I don't think it's your fault, Parker. I think that they tricked you into thinking that this card was good against creatures, and it's just not. That's it's just the sad truth of the Millicent Bulstrode card here. Looks like Snape is going to tap and heal 7 for us. Using 1 action to bop a creature would be good if it didn't cost us 2 actions for the pleasure. For the privilege to shoot a black bat. We're going to heal 7 cards. Looks like a whole bunch of removal, of course, because now we've gotten up to that wonderful 5 lesson. The one cool thing that we didn't really get to see taking advantage of last game that we're noticing here in this game is this is a 3-color deck from Parker, taking advantage of Snape, and also happens to have Charms Lessons in the list. Yep, that's the Galaxy Brain play there, right? It's the old Vanishing Step. Go ahead and get rid of my black bat. It's going to cost you your entire turn. I don't like that. I don't, you know, but at this point, yeah, you've already, this is a sunk cost kind of deal, right? You're just going to do it. You've got an action for turn. Yep, there it is, Millicent to kill the black bat. And I think that that's just too neutral, man. We need to do more. Because these gargoyles they just hit you for 10. They just hit you for 10. What's the extra 2? You know, what's it matter? That action, basically, your entire turn was worth more than 2 damage. Even just getting another one of these lessons down. You just start thinking about whatever your win conditions are. And how many steps minimum are between you and your win conditions, right? Let's say your win condition is something that costs, what do we got? We got 5 out, like 7 plus. Let's say you want to get to Scribble-4s and Debonings and stuff. I'm actually not even sure exactly what we're going for here, besides just value. Looks like kind of it's supposed to just be like generically good character deck, but needs a little bit of a payoff. The original payoff for the Oops All Characters deck was keeping them in the lock. But Parker's no slouch. I'm sure he's gonna show us, or that we'll see kind of the angle he's going for here. I do see that he's got a lot of the adventures in the front of George. Again, I think this double door suspension would be pretty strong against McGonagall. He actually might play it just because he's at the 4 lessons, but at this point, again, I think this is also a trap. We really just have to look at our action economy and how efficient we're being with them here, and we're just having a real tough time because these gargoyles are just this is 13 damage next turn. I mean, we've got only 15 cards left in the deck. We've already used this heal. The other heals are gone. I think, unfortunately, creatures are just going to go burr. Yeah, I mean, Dumbledore Suspension is going to turn off McGonagall. But now you're going to take 13 damage to the face. Yeah, I think that's game. Unfortunately, for Parker, he ran into a low curve McGonagall creatures deck, and McGonagall creatures will absolutely smash you. It will get there. Gargoyles are very strong. They are the most efficient creatures. And Millicent is not the most efficient removal. Fortunately, he's not quite it. I'll tell you what, I bet Parker after this doesn't sideboard Millicents anymore to deal with creature decks. I bet that gets the old cut. You might as well skip 2 actions into that, right? I mean, come on. No, we've got the Pomfrey. Pomfrey is going to heal us 12. And then we lose. Right? He heals 12 and then we lose because we take 13 damage. Unfortunate, but, you know, sometimes these things happen. Creature is very, very powerful. And that's going to be a 2-0 for Morel here. And we will see what's going on in our other table. Drawing all these cards for. I guess they're just talking it through at this point. Oh, he wanted to see the baby dragon. Wants to show him the baby dragon. Yeah, I mean, let's look at just these creatures. I mean, the Cornish Pixie and the Black Bat are the only things that are weak to the Millicent. And you're not going to run a Cornish Pixie out against a Millicent. And Millicent coming down against a Cornish, like as an answer to the Cornish Pixie, again, it's a 3-action answer to a 1-action threat. So I think you're super okay with that as the Cornish Pixie player. Any creature player sees this get played again and they're like, oh man, that's what they've got for me. Thank God. Imagine if this was like a Quirrell instead. We actually would have bought ourselves some time. It's tricky. I hate anything that costs this high action investment and then still requires an action to use. And then after all that, it's limited to once a turn. Like, I don't even think it would be that crazy to be able to use both of your actions on a turn to deal 2 damage to a gargoyle. You know, it's actually a really, really relevant number to be able to spend your whole turn to do. As it is, I just think she's kind of going to end up, you know, in the old bulk bin. All right, I'm going to go ahead and switch to the other table here. Excuse me. Table 1. What's going on at table 1? These are not the players anymore. All right, looks like we've got Draco versus Draco. We've got a classic items Draco over here that's doing charms and potions, and I love this from Frizz. We've got a potions and pair of magical creatures Draco deck, and is this Errol? Oh, very cool. Guide to Household Pets. So the thing with Draco is one of those great action advantage cards where the first turn or first time during each of your turns that you play an item, you get one more action that turn. And we're seeing a lot of cool revival cards hit the table. Basilisk Fang is a 6-drop item, so of course that refunds the action with Draco, and it has the old, when you play this card, do 2 damage to your opponent or a creature, then you may use an action, as we just did, to discard it from play and choose an opponent's item and discard it. I imagine we're going to be either shooting the Self-Stirring Cauldron or the Lucius's Cane. Of course it is the Self-Stirring Cauldron. Lucius's Cane, this is hands down my favorite designed revival card in Heir of Slytherin. This cane is very cool. It's a 4-cost potions item that provides charms lessons. So neat, so neat. And at the end of each of your turns, you deal 2 damage to your opponent for each action you have used after the second action. I would almost certainly be playing something with this in it. I was playing a revival. It seems very good with the way that we like to play, aka take a million actions a turn. Ollivander's very neat card is going to be coming down here to put an item from our discard pile into our hand. We are going to go scoop back a Self-Stirring Cauldron. That's a little tricksy because this Self-Stirring Cauldron is going to get rid of our last 2 basic potions lessons. It does put us up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and it does give us that action back plus 1 action. So the nice thing about Self-Stirring Cauldron into Draco is you go plus 1 action for playing this. So, oh, excuse me. We used Ollivander's first, though. So Ollivander's into Self-Stirring Cauldron, and boom, we're at 2 actions. So we get at least 2 triggers off Lucius's Cane, right? Because we're going to use an action to play potions. Now I'd like to see a little middle-of-the-road damage here. Ooh, Sickle. Very strong play. Sickle is basically do something about me right now kind of card. These are the kind of cards that we were really focused on when we started playing with like Draco combo decks, money cards. Very good cards. I think they're just obviously good. And they open up a lot of things because, again, like you said, actions. Actions are strong. Every single game of Harry Potter is won by the use of actions. So, don't you want to use more actions than your opponent? I sure do. I guess I should put the players' names up, huh? This is... Oh, it's all of the owls, baby. I'm into it. Hedwig is going to go and get back the Tawny Owl, I believe. Sickle is going to pop. Oh, goodness. Elvis has got himself a pocket full of actions this turn. He's starting off with 4, so it's already going to be 2 cane activations. Did we do the cane damage last time? I missed it. Yeah, we did. Card. Get him, Hedwig. That's right. Swoop down in there and chop him up. Hedwig's a pretty great card. 6-cost creature. When you play this card, you can put a non-healing card from your discard pile into your hand. So basically, Hedwig just goes and gets you your best card that you've already used and lets you use it again. He brings you a glorious package. Saying Hedwig like that makes me think of the Wands rap song. Do you guys know that one? I can't sing it. I don't think it's appropriate to sing on stream. Not that I wouldn't, but you know. And I'm gonna link you this thing. You probably... My name's Gary Potter. Never heard of me, but you probably know my brother from the Potter Octology. That's the longest URL I've ever sent somebody. I'm sorry about that. Should get you where you're going, though. Ah, so we moved Eli's into play, and that lets us see our opponent's hand. That's pretty cool. So now we get to take a peek as well. Tawny Owl, Snape, Slow Acting Venom. The regular old potions lesson are just populating our hand here. And boy howdy, does Michael have a lot of cards. Looks like we're going to go ahead and do the combo. We're going to pop the Eel Eyes and the Bulgeye, or sorry, Eel Eyes and Beetle Eyes to get the Bulgeye potion. There it is. And Bulgeye potion is going to be you use an action to discard it from play to deal 13 damage to your opponent. Boy howdy, that is a lot of damage. Also kind of a cool thing is that when you use an action to discard these and play this, if you haven't played an item yet this turn, Draco does give you the action back. So it kind of lets you just convert them into this and use the action instead to deal the 13 damage. Looks like we are going to be triggering that potion for 13 damage to the face. And then we will be dealing damage with the Lucius's Cane to the tune of 6 more damage. That's going to hurt. And now we've got the between the Cane and this other Beetle Eyes being in play, we are very ready to nuke down Frizz. So we're gonna have to see what Frizz has got as an answer. He's got the Owls. They've been doing work. We've got Michael down to 2/3 of his deck is already gone. Unfortunately, I think those Bulgeyes are tipping the tables a little bit in his favor. It's just a lot of damage. I like seeing a lot of these revival cards that don't see a ton of play yet, at least. Basilisk Fang, Lucius's Cane. I think these cards are going to be around a little more. I think these players are, in general, most of the players in the community have been inspired by a lot of the stuff going on in the tournament over the last month. So we're going to probably see some new strategies and changes coming out from that kind of stuff too. Let me go ahead and just Bolton for the other match. That was 0. Oh.
He's a lucky kid.
Oh, he's a lucky kid. All right, and then Nicola and Michael, we'll see who ends up coming out on top here. Looks like we are going to Basilisk Fang to get rid of the Beetle Eyes because we're really terrified of the big nuke. We want to make sure that he's not about to just Ollivanders like the other half of the Beetle Eyes or anything like that. Probably exactly the play he was eyeing up. Oh boy, and I think my dinner got here. I'm excited to be able to munch on that in between this and the next round. I think that what Michael's doing right now is he's trying to puzzle out getting 3 extra actions to trigger the Cane, because if he hits Frizz for 6, that will end the game when Frizz draws for turn. Oh man, he played a new wand. He played a wand that's not Lucius's Cane. Dragon Heart Wand knocks the other one out of there. And he gets Fumos, and he's gonna deal 2 damage to every creature. Wow, that's pretty funny. We don't really see that happen that often. He's gonna go ahead and just wipe the board with the old Fumos after Dragon Heart Wanding into it. That's pretty cool. Not exactly what I thought we were gonna be seeing this turn. I thought he was gonna be trying to get that extra 3 actions. Maybe he just didn't have a way to do it. You know, there's nothing wrong with this. This is nice and safe. The old Fumos. Seen this hand already, so you know that that your opponent doesn't have anything too explosive. He's gonna slam a sickle into play. That's fine. He only used 2 actions. That's kind of weird. Because he got an action back with Draco, right? He should have just drawn a card with... Right? Hold on, let me look here. Oh, never mind. Duh. I was like, why didn't the Cane damage happen? Well, the Cane's not in play anymore, John. That's why. He got rid of the Cane when he played the Borrowed Wand, so it doesn't Pomfrey is going to be healing back a bunch of cards, and there's Cyclops Alemporium. I was wondering where that one was, or Elops, whatever this is. Makes all the owls have they're all +1/+1. We got a deck full of owls. I like this. This is kind of cool. I like the potions and care magical creatures Draco. I don't think that we often see that. And I know that Frizz is a big Draco guy, so I'm sure he's explored more versions of Draco than I could even imagine. Alright, we're going to be healing all these cards back into our deck. Brings us right back up to 18. That's not bad at all. It felt like, you know, Michael really had the window to seize this one. And now maybe it's evened out a little bit. We'll see. I mean, he just popped the sickle, and he's sitting here pretty at 4 actions, and he will very easily be able to get one more back as a refund from playing an item thanks to Draco's ability. So we're going into our turn with 4 actions for Michael. See if we can turn this into some kind of a win this turn. We have to deal 18 damage? Probably not. Probably more setting up time. These slow-acting venoms are dripping life right out of Christmas Feast. 4 non-healing item cards from the discard pile into hand. He's going for the Bullseye and Self-Stirring Cauldron. I don't hate that, right? Because he's going to Self-Stirring Cauldron from here, and it'll bring him to 10. And then he can Windmill Slam the Bullseye Potion without even having to do the special thing for 13. Man, if only he could get the cane. He can, right? It's an item? Oh, no, but that would walk him. He wouldn't have enough to... Well, it doesn't matter, right? So if he gets the cane, the Bullseye Potion, and the Self-Stirring Cauldron, forget what the third thing is. It doesn't matter, right? He used 1 action to go get them. That means that he's down to 3 actions for the turn. So then he plays the Self-Stirring Cauldron, which gives him +2, right? So he goes back to, if he goes from 4 down to 3, then he plays this and goes to 2, but then bing bing, he goes back to 4, right? Now he's at 10. So now he plays the 10 cost potion onto the table, right? Then he should switch this for the cane. He pops the potion to deal 13 damage and has the cane in play, and then he does the last 6 damage to the face. So maybe there's a cane in his hand, but I think that we certainly had lethal this turn, and we might have just navigated our way around it, giving our opponent a little more time. Wow. Yeah, I'm confident we missed lethal that turn there. That's okay. Oh, look at that. He dropped the Snape, and he's going to heal more. Oh, man, that feels bad to miss lethal, and then he heals up. Oh, I hope this doesn't come back to bite us. Right, because we used an absurd amount of actions. We would have dealt... We used 3 extra actions, maybe 4 extra actions. No, I think it would have been exactly 3. He has the cane in his hand? What are we doing? Wait, what did he use his last action on then? What happened to the extra? I think we dropped some actions. Because he started the turn with 4, used 1, and then got the... Uh-oh, what just happened? Oh, he won that one? I missed exactly how he did it. Oh, he had another Bullseye or something. I think he had all the pieces in his hand for it. That's right. Man, I mean, hey, we got there, but I don't think we had to give our opponent the the extra time. This is actually game 3 for these guys. Oh boy. They've got about 13 minutes to get their game 3 in. I'm actually going to be right back as they get this game started, guys. Just hang tight. BRB. Okay, back. We've got delicious pizza, delicious dinner. All right, what do we got going on here? What did we play? Oh yeah, we sure did. We played an adventure, escaping the Dursleys. Turn 1, our opponent responded. Actually, it looks like turn 1 was Frizz's, right? So he went lesson. Our opponent played Dursley. We dropped our 3rd lesson, solved Dursleys, went and got ourselves a Tawny Owl, and dropped the Basilisk Fang back into our hand. What's wrong with that? Forgive me as I eat my dinner, as I masticate over here. Masticating on stream, ew. Alright. Guide to Household Pests. I'll tell you what, Michael has got a shitload of cards up on Frizz because of the escaping the Dursleys, but he had a real slow start. Now I think Frizz is going to have all the time in the world to kind of get some early advantage in. Get a couple more of these little owls to set up and we get an Ilops down. Bad. Parker, welcome to chat. Yeah, Parker, it's okay. I think you'll see this because I know that you always go back and watch the things. It's not your fault, I said, because the revival team made you think that Millicent Bulstrode is actually good against creatures, and she's not. It's a trap. It's a trap. It costs you 3 actions to kill a black bat that already did 2 damage to you. You know what I mean? I think that creatures decks obviously they're going to be your tough matchup there, right? It's always one of the things that gave Ron the best run for its money, is that it would be coming in there and just going brrr and just dealing all this damage before Ron really had a chance to get his value down. Couldn't buy a Quirrell. Are you only playing with cards you own? That's fair. An honorable thing to do. You'll be able to proxy up at events though. So Windmill slammed those Quirrells into that list, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you mean like you couldn't buy a... Yeah, never mind, I get it, I'm sorry. I took it too literally. You had them in there, you just couldn't get to it, yeah.
No one would miss me.
Elvis has got the he's got a lot of green cards in his hand for having all these charms lessons. And this is one of the things that's really tricky about the books and stuff like that. Excuse me. Oh, forgive me. I think that if you're playing something like this and you have so many, like honestly, an absurd amount of items to trigger Draco, like you're doing the Eolize, Beetleize thing, you actually just have so many low curve items that you can just skip these entirely, I think, and just play the lessons. You need basic lessons. You need enough basic lessons to pop your self-stirring cauldrons. Ideally, to use self-stirring cauldron and not get rid of all your basic lessons, right? So you're not super counterable. And you also need to make sure that you have potion down. I mean, it's where all of the most important cards of your deck come from. Charms is nice support, but you need potions is critical. I think that the Escaping the Dursleys didn't buy us as much time as we would have liked. Our opponent now has 2 Basilisk Fangs just chilling.
Is that supposed to be a joke? Cause I'm not laughing.
Didn't have a hair care in either game either. Yeah, it's tough. Magical Drafts and Potions is going to go ahead and get us a lesson and refund the action. Puts us up to 5. Are we going to Windmill Slam the wand? I think there's no reason not to for this Dragonheart wand. Definitely don't want to use Skelegro. I guess maybe we're thinking about the Eolize.
Sora, see? That's why it has to be you.
I don't think that you'd bother with Eolize yet. Yeah, you just ramp it up. Ramp it up. You can play down the Dragonheart wand. That gets us up to 8. 8's a nice big number. Kind of, we basically can play everything in the deck except for hard casting the Bullseye Potion. But we'll get there soon enough too. Dragonheart wand is going to go straight to the discard pile because we did play it into the Basilisk Fang. Maybe we're just trying to pick those Basilisk Fangs off the table as well. Eolize is a nice low investment item that you can play and kind of threaten, like, oh, get rid of this, otherwise I might combo it into something bigger. But yeah, I think that the Dragonheart wand, without playing something off of that curve there, we did actually just walk right into the Basilisk Fan. That's my fault too. I didn't quite see that either. Still a card that we're getting used to, right? Bible cards. Is this a self-stirring cauldron? Oh, it is. Even though we are playing this into another Basilisk Fang? Oh, I don't know if I like this. No me gusta. It's already in play, so we can't stop this with anything. Parker says, by far, one of the best revival editions. Basilisk Fang? That's pretty cool. I like Lucius's Cane. Lucius's Cane is sick. Lucius's Cane is so good, people don't even realize how good it is, and they miss lethal sometimes, like last game, by not playing it. Yeah, Lucius's Cane is my favorite of the revival cards. My hot take is that I think Lucius's Cane is maybe one of the only cards that actually makes the grade in Heir of Slytherin. But that's another conversation. Maybe Drawing the Sword. Oh, that's not true. I like some of the, I like 2 of the Quidditch cards. I like Swallowed Snitch, circling the goalpost. That's the end of my list. Unfortunately, potions was severely underplayed in the revival tourney. Yeah, you know, we'll get those deck lists soon. But I didn't see a whole lot of the different types of potion strategies. I mean, I saw VTJ stuff and I saw Snuffling combo stuff. But I don't think that's what you mean when you say that. I think you just mean like some more of those revival and different potion strategies. Yep, so we went ahead and got rid of the self-stirring cauldron with another Basilisk Fang. That was easy. But click, that was easy. You guys remember that little Staples button? I wish I had one of those. I'd click that right now, because man, did we just give that up for free. Eel Eyes from hand to discard. Arthur Weasley from main deck to discard. Draw a card. Both of these guys running Arthur. I don't think we've seen him touch down at all. Elvis is really struggling from what we were talking about earlier. Not having those basic potions lessons, not having enough potion lessons, kind of walking into the fangs with the cauldron stuff. Trying to talk just a little bit less as I'm eating over here, so. Hungry boy. Alright, looks like we're healing on our side as well. We've got a Pomfrey tapped sideways, and we are choosing the 12 strongest warriors. Back into the There's time in the round. It's the old draw by revival rules. Got like the shocked Pikachu emote from Frizz. 8 o'clock, man. It's you know, time. Time's a thing. They're still jamming. I don't know what they're gonna do for time here. I don't know if they're just playing it out or something. You know, this is something that we have to talk about. I did mention this. I brought it up to the team, the revival team. I don't particularly like their end, like the time rules that just say like whoever's turn it is wraps up their turn and then that's it. There should definitely be a +3 of some kind. We have +X turns. Thanks as always for doing this. We'll go back and oh man, of course. My pleasure. My pleasure. I do this for the Final Fantasy community, and I figure why not? Why not help out the old Harry Potter TCG revival community as well? And I thought my first card game was niche. Like, these guys are just like playing. I don't know how to tell them. I mean, I told them already, but what am I gonna do? Are we gonna be like, am I gonna be that guy? Am I gonna be like, guys, come on? You know, the purpose of time is that we keep things timely. They're just playing this one out. Like, I'm about to report them as just 1-1. I was gonna give them a chance to figure it out, but looks like they just had to keep playing. Oh no, he knows, dude. He reacted in the time in the round, and he gave me the surprise Pikachu. I don't want to drop in the channel because then they'll stream their audio to stream. It's not like this is going to be over anytime soon either, unless this guy double bullseyes him right away. Actually, oh no. I was going to say, it will bullseye and Arthur, but he's the one at 22. His opponent's got 37 health and a Snape on the table. God, this is, Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and report it. I just told them, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go report the draw. You know, like not for nothing, guys, but you know, the reason that I type out what time the round starts and ends is so that you are aware of it. 50 minutes before I call time on you. It's not supposed to be a surprise. You know what I mean? I make it as clear as I can. Photon Ray, subscribe to tier 3. Oh my goodness, Tyler, you are my hero. You're subscribing to yourself at the old tier 3. You got yourself a, you know, you got all those emotes. Flex them. Oh, this is your, you clicked the reminder thing. I know that you're tier 3. I think you clicked the reminder. It just told me in the thing that you resubscribed, but I think it's just a reminder of your sub. Yeah, that's okay. It is the anniversary, right? April 25th, April 24th, 25th. That's when we had the big event. Do you believe it's been a month? Alright, this time I'm gonna like highlight the time extra. But I don't have all night, you know? I don't think you guys have all night either. Well, Tyler, what's going on? Welcome to Harry Potter night. I know this is probably not your favorite night of all the different things that we stream. We'll be doing a Final Fantasy VI speed run after it, though. If, you know, that's more your thing. That's more your speed. Get it? Keck. You just chilling? I feel that. Well, welcome, man. Always welcome. Chill in my crib. That's right. You got half a case of Twisted Tea. You made some Alfredo? Sick, dude. I'm eating pizza. Real pizza, not like whatever they have where you live. You know? Zap! Got him. They just can't figure it out anywhere else, man. I don't get it. I roasted a pork loin with a lemon garlic rub. Dude, wait, what part of that was Alfredo? Are you just eating 2 dinners at once? Spinach, mushroom, and tomato. Damn, dude. That sounds delicious, man. You like to cook? You cut the pork loin up and put it in the Alfredo. Very interesting. Never considered pork Alfredo. Sounds really good. I mean, nothing about that sounds like it isn't delicious. Cody subscribing at tier 1 with that 13-month sub. Cody, that's hype as hell. You're right, hype. Dude, I love that you got that little first badge next to your name. That founder, that 13-month sub. You basically helped me remember when we really started doing all this streaming. Right? Alright. At least as long as we've been worth subscribing to. Let's go ahead and get into the next game. These guys are already off to the races. I'm the one who's being distracted by chat here. So we've got Morel on top and Frizz on the bottom. Or Nicola, sorry. All right, we get another chance to watch the Owls do their thing. Maybe get the Owl Emporium. Who's winning? These guys just started off round 2 here. And right now, it's pretty close, but I would say that even though the Gargoyle is a much better creature, pound for pound, than Barn Owl is, Gargoyle becomes a much worse creature when there's other creatures in play. And this guy is playing all these owls, and the Iops Owl Emporium is going to give all of his owls +1/+1. So this owl is a 2/2, not a 1/1. It actually makes it better than the Gargoyle right now, because Gargoyle's not going to get his second effect. But I spoke too soon. Because picking on Neville is going to come down, and picking on Neville is going to choose one of your opponent's cards and discard it. And of course, the counterplay here is your opponent can choose 2 other cards and discard them instead. Don't ever do that. Just take the first one. Because you know what? If they just have another picking on Neville, then you're like triple screwed. So they're going to picking on Neville, get rid of the owl, and that's going to make the Gargoyle do more damage, right? Because there's no creature on the other side. Oh, hey, it's Zidane. What's Zidane? This doesn't hit their hand. This hits their field. Like, you choose a card on the field, and you're like, hey, get rid of that card. And if you don't get rid of that card, you have to pick 2 other cards on the field to get rid of. Yeah. There is a character who you can discard a card to look at their hand and take a card out of it, and that's kind of like Zidane. Baby dragon, little babby dragon coming down here, and he has got 3 damage, 2 health, and the counter to him having such good stats at being a 3 cost is that he costs discarding one of your Care of Magical Creature lessons for play when he comes in. But that's not that bad. Go ahead and slam down that baby dragon. Oh, get another baby dragon. It is the baby dragon army, dude, coming down here. And I like this, but this is a low curve aggro deck. He's just going to go ahead and build a couple of lessons and then throw them all away for the baby dragon army. And baby dragons don't give a shit if there's creatures on the other side of the table. They, unlike the gargoyles, do not get any weaker. So these guys are just going to be clapping for full marks for 6 damage a turn. We are going to play the Tawny Owl, which lets us get a non-healing item back from our discard pile and put it into our hand. We've chosen the item that helps us get rid of a creature. It's what we use to get rid of the other gargoyle. So that's kind of nice because we'll be able to play that next turn and get rid of one of the baby dragons. But the other thing is, we gave Morel all the information he needed. Okay, hey, look at this. Just so you know, next turn I'm going to play this item and then I'm going to use it to get one of your dragons. So instead, what Morel does with his turn is he plays a copy of Vanishing Step. Vanishing Step is going to make your opponent's next turn, they have 1 fewer action. So that means we're only going to be able to play... Oh, no. Oh, actually, Draco's going to get the refund on that one, so we still can play it and use it. Is there mana or something? Yes. See these lessons? These are like lands. But you don't have to tap them. So what happens is, see how the card in the top left corner, the card has a cost. This costs 1 transfiguration, right? As long as Morel has a single transfiguration lesson in play, he can cast this card, and boom. McGonagall provides 1 transfiguration lesson. That's her whole thing, right? He also has 3 Care Magical Creatures lessons in play. These are basic lessons. So total, he has 4 power, and he can cast cards that cost 4 of either Care of Magical Creatures or Transfiguration. You only need to have 1 that matches, kind of like Final Fantasy. So he's going to go ahead and he's going to play another lesson. And he's going to play the Marble Gargoyle. Marble Gargoyle, he's still decently statted, even when his effect isn't online. And of course, remember, the Gargoyle's effects are that the Gargoyles deal 3 more damage, or sorry, they just deal more damage to your opponent if they don't have a creature. Marble Gargoyle, the bigger guy, he deals 3 more damage, so he becomes a 5/3. But this little owl is going to be dropping a parcel on his head, stopping him from doing that much. He'll just be a 2/3. Still adds up. So players have, that's how you pay for cards, right? But there's another resource that you have to use as well. It's called actions. Every player gets 2 actions at the beginning of their turn. You may use an action to play a lesson, creature, spell, item, or location card. You may use 2 actions to play a character or an adventure card. And since you only have, basically you get like allowance, right? You can do 2 things a turn with your allowance. Players want to do whatever they can to get themselves a little extra pocket change, a little more allowance, right? So Draco Malfoy Slytherin is the starting character for Nicola here. And that's once during each of your turns when you use an action to play an item card, you get 1 more action that turn. So you get a nice little refund. All right, so he's going to go ahead and he's going to play for his first action this Basilisk Fang. And this Basilisk Fang does all kinds of stuff when it comes into play, but it's also going to give us an action back. So we still have 2 actions. Basilisk Fang is when you play the card, you deal 2 damage to your opponent or to a creature of your choice. And you may use an action to discard this from play to make an opponent discard an item from play. So when we came in with this, we hit the baby dragon for 2 to stop that 3 damage from hitting us in the face every turn. But it's a little bit late, you know, right? We're finally getting to some of this removal. But we're getting real low on cards in deck. We have 16 cards left in the deck. And the way that damage works, by the way, is damage is just number of cards that get discarded from the top of your deck into the discard pile. So when these guys deal 2 damage each at the beginning of the turn, you'll see Nicola right here. He takes 4 cards from the top of his deck and he puts them in the discard pile. Once your deck reaches 0, it's like your hit points. Once your hit points reach 0, you're dead. Oh, Forest Troll. I kind of like this. Morel's deck is all low curve creatures. They're all about throwing away the lessons to have these overstated guys come down early and just hope that, you know, we're already playing aggro. So we're just kind of assume our opponent's not punishing us for these stuff. If they are, we probably already lost. And if they're not, we're going to steamroll them with early aggression, early pressure. And I think that the Forest Troll does a really good job of that. Forest Troll, Giant Tarantula, highly underplayed. Giant Tarantula, Forest Troll, Forest Troll probably also underplayed. Marble Gargoyle. Welsh Green Dragon is probably the most bang for your buck on a creature. And honestly, I love this baby dragon. I think this is probably a little bit underplayed too. And I love that Morel's bringing the baby dragon into the event tonight. And so, yeah, we are going to go ahead and take advantage of that McGonagall. We're going to use Steel Claw, and that's going to be the game. So basically, what happened there was Morel dealt another, 2 for 6 damage at the beginning of the turn. And then he used the spell that says all your creatures deal damage again. So they dealt their damage twice. Enough to kill. So we go to game 2, and this format is Revival, which includes the fan-made Revival set and also slight adjustments to the rules. We alternate Classic and Revival format tournaments every other week. Or I guess every week we alternate them. So every other week is, Classic. This week is Revival. Players do have the opportunity to sideboard in Revival, as we're seeing them sideboard right now. So I imagine that Frizz is going to be putting in just a little bit more low to the ground, some creature burns, some more control-y stuff. Just definitely aware of the fact that these gargoyles are going to hit us early and often. And Morel, realizing his opponent's got some creatures in the deck, probably going to pack a little bit more removal to make sure that his gargoyles get full effect. We'll see what choices they made as we go into game 2. I think that Frizz is just verifying that his sideboard happened correctly. Everything looks good. Yeah, it's cool because it's cool for a couple of reasons, right? So one of the best ways to kill your opponent is by forcing them to draw, right? There's like force to draw combos that make them draw out their deck and they lose. I think that's always cool. In any game where you can make your opponent draw so many cards they lose, that's great. So there was a card that's like, oh, they discard their hand and they draw as many cards as they had in their hand, right? Then there's another card that says your opponent counts the number of cards in their hand and then they draw twice that many cards. That's absurd, right? You have 10 cards in your hand, you're going to draw 20. Now you have 30 cards in your hand. What? Did 20 damage. Of course, that's the kind of card where, like, if they have 3 or, they only need to have, like, 3 cards in their hand, you can cast 3 of that and they just die no matter what. Exponents, baby. All right, this game is pretty standard fare. So we went with the old lesson right here, actually quite a bit. Oh, Hagrid needs help, that's why. So first thing that that Frizz did was he played Hagrid needs help. Poor Hagrid, he always needs so much help. So this is an adventure. So an adventure costs 2 actions. So Frizz basically used his whole turn to play this card, and an adventure is something your opponent has to solve, right? They're basically subjected to the effect until they do the solve, and then they get the reward. These are your hard control cards for the most part. The reward is almost always very troll. Like, not really an award at all. This effect is your opponent gets 1 fewer action on each of their turns, even the turn they solve this adventure. So obviously you don't want to lose one of your 2 actions every single turn. So you're going to solve this right away. What's the solve? Your opponent takes 8 damage. And then their reward is they can draw 3 cards. But remember what we were just talking about earlier? It's kind of like dealing them 11 damage. So Hagrid needs help is really, really good in aggressive creature strategies because either they're not going to have as much actions or they're about to take 11 damage to the face for 2 actions. It's very hard to deal 11 damage for 2 actions this early on. So that gives Morel only 1 action. So he played creatures. Then on Frizz's turn, he went creature, pass. Then the next turn after that was book. Get the action back because Draco gives you an action back when you play an item, right? Then play another, and then boom, he went right to the Barn Owl. Now Morel's turn, he's able to play Hannah Abbott. Now Hannah Abbott, very powerful additional character. Remember, characters also cost 2 actions. So he uses 2 actions to play Hannah. Hannah Abbott has the effect that once per game, you may trade 2 cards from your hand for 2 non-healing cards in your discard pile. So he shows, I'm making the trade, I'm trading Substitute Cat and Care of Magical Creatures for my Gargoyles because they're my most powerful creatures and I don't know why they're in the discard pile. Hannah Abbott is really, really strong with the way damage works in this game, right? Something that you mentioned, Tyler. Basically, as my opponent hits me in the face, Hannah Abbott gets better and better. Hannah Abbott eventually is going to just get me whatever combo piece, whatever critical piece I need to win the game, and put it in my hand. Obviously, she's still pretty good at early game, mid game, like we just used to hear to great effect. But my favorite way to use this card is in those decks where you're just like, it's just such a crazy piece of inevitability on the board. Turn your two worst cards. Turn your two worst cards into exactly what you need. Two best cards you could ever ask for at the moment. Card quality, massive upgrade. She also looks totally baked. But to have a hairstyle like that, I guess you gotta be. Oh, I like this. I've been waiting to see this counter into the McGonagall decks. Dumbledore Suspension. This is the reason that I would that I would put Transfiguration Lessons in my sideboard. Is it like instant speed? Or what were we just talking about? What instant? Oh, as using Hannah instant speed. So there's no reactions, right? You can't do anything on your opponent's turn. It's kind of like Pokemon in that sense. So when you play Hannah, she just chills there. It's once per game you may do that. You don't have to do it when you play her. Yeah, you can just do it whenever on your turn, yeah. But there's no stack, right? There's no stacks for anything. You can do your entire turn in whatever order you want, right? You have 2 actions. You can spend them and do any of your actions or do anything that you can do for your whole turn. After you draw your card, do it in whatever order you want, whatever tickles your fancy. Basically, the way that the turn goes is you start your turn, you resolve any before the turn stuff, you draw a card, your creatures deal damage, and now you have agency to use your actions. Yeah, so we play Hannah down, and then it's just going to be at some point in the future on my turn, I'm going to activate her. We've got a couple owls in play. They're trying to check these gargoyles, but look at all these winged creatures just flapping around, attacking each other. And another Guide to Household Pests is going to come down here for Frizz. So the books are pretty cool. Books provide a lesson, right? That makes sense. You learn something when you read a book. But a book is not a lesson by itself, right? A book is an item. So you still need a lesson in play to be able to cast a book because it costs 2. But once you play the book, it basically is the same as providing you another Care Magical Creatures lesson, but it also has this extra ability where you can use an action and discard it from play to choose a creature in play and deal it 4 damage. So it's like a lesson with a little extra utility. It's kind of cool because we're going to be using them to blow up some of these cards. Dobby's Disappearance is going back into hand for Morel. But he played Hedwig and he got back Dobby's Disappearance. Very cool. Oh, Dragonhide Gloves. Interesting. Counterplay. Dragonhide Gloves is an 8-cost Care Magical Creatures item. That says whenever a creature does damage to you, you prevent 1 of that damage. And this triggers for each creature, so that's actually really neat. Stacking those up like that is actually pretty effective. We're going to have to do something about that, that's for sure. Oh! Drawing the Sword. Sick play. This is another new revival card. You can play this card only if you have a Gryffindor Witch or Wizard in play. Do 6 damage divided as you choose among any number of creatures. Of course, McGonagall is a Gryffindor Witch. So we're going to choose to divide that 7 damage, or 6 damage, sorry, in such a way that we are going to clap all the creatures on first side of the board. And the reason that that's important is, remember, our gargoyles deal more damage when there are no creatures on the other side of the board. And we want them to be dealing enough damage to get through the Dragonhide gloves. Looks like we had another Hedwig, though, so we played the old Hedwig down. And the cool thing about Hedwig is she's unique, right? So there's a few characters that there can't be more than one of. So there can't be more than one Hedwig. So Hedwig, on our opponent's side, we had to use our Guide to Household Pest to deal 4 damage to our opponent's Hedwig, so that we could play our own. And we went and we got back to Basilisk. We are going to be using Dobby's Disappearance to get rid of one of the Dragonhide gloves. I don't like that just because Dobby's Disappearance just puts it back in their hand. And you can just play it next turn and your creatures already did damage. Picking on Neville is choose one of your opponent's cards in play other than the starting character and discard it. And they can choose 2 of their cards in play and discard them instead to prevent it. That's going to go ahead and get rid of the other gloves. Can creatures block, or does damage just happen at end of turn? Damage happens at the beginning of turn before you use your actions after you draw a card. So you actually, when you play a creature, they don't have quote-unquote summoning sickness, right? But they don't deal damage right away, so your opponent has a turn to do something about them, kind of. So in a way, they do. They have like a functional summoning sickness. Creatures cannot block. There are some creatures, usually they're plants, that soak damage for you from spells or things like that. But no, they don't block. Wow, this is the first time I've ever seen this card on the table. Slytherin's Basilisk, a revival rare coming down. To play this card, you discard 2 of your Care Magical Creatures lessons from play. At the end of each of your turns, you choose an opponent's character or creature and you put a petrification counter on it. Cards with petrification counters lose all abilities and do no damage. When this card leaves play, you remove all petrification counters from play. So we're going to choose at the end of the turn here. I don't see who we put the counter on, but I'm sure it was McGonagall. So turning off McGonagall's abilities is pretty strong, right? Because she's providing this transfiguration lesson for the whole deck. And because you can't usually interact, in fact, this is the first card that interacts with the starting character in any way. And that's because this is a fan-made revival card. I honestly don't think they would have touched the starting character, but this card lets you turn off the abilities of the starting character. So you play that and you turn off McGonagall, and she no longer provides transfiguration lessons. So he can't play any of his transfiguration cards in the whole deck unless he plays a basic transfiguration lesson onto the table. It looks like we scooped that one as he had that down and he was turning off our creatures and he had the hide gloves, and I think Nicola was very far ahead there and he was happy to just chill. So it was smart of Morel to scoop and go to game 3 so that these guys are timely. All right, 2 Care Magical Creatures for both players. Nice, slow, fair, gentleman's game for game 3. I do love this is going to game 3 already. I know. You guys know I had to sneak the Final Fantasy music in. Standard Kid's a little loud here, though. The Final Fantasy music is what's going to get my VODs muted, bro. I gotta be careful. All right. We got down a potion. We got down a magical drafts and potions, which refunded our action again because Draco's our starter, and we got to run out a 3rd lesson. 3rd Care Magical Creature. Sorry. Technically our 4th lesson. Looks like we're going to play the old ditch the magical drafts and potions to draw 3 cards, play Guide to Household Pest, get an action back, then play the Tawny Owl and go and get the book back from our discard pile. This is kind of the idea when you're building this deck, right? Is that you want to play these items that refund an action for you, and then you're going to use the other item to draw cards, and then you're going to play this creature who's going to refund the card from your discard pile, so that next turn you can use it and make sure you're always getting that activation for Draco once per turn. So it looks like we decided to use Picking on Neville, and we just went ahead and discarded our potions project that he picked on. Or our potions lesson, sorry. Smart move by Morel, just wants to turn off the access to potions to the whole green slice of the color pie here. And it looks like we're going to go ahead and run out another book, get the action back for Draco, and that's going to leave us 2 actions to play an adventure. And oh, Hagrid needs help. Oh, please won't you help Hagrid? Look at him, he's got his head in his hands. He's having a really bad day. He needs a lot of help. Hagrid's going to need your opponent to take 8 damage. Oops, just kidding. We had Dobby's disappearance in our hand, and we just bounced Hagrid's help. Hagrid needs help, sorry. Back to hand. We still have an action, thanks to the magic of Dobby, because Dobby is free. A third guide to household pests, and man, you really hate to see this as Morel. Your opponent is just casually investing 3 times in something that could just kill any of your creatures. And creatures is kind of like your main strategy for your deck here. It's going to be tough for us to get through those 3 books. The one thing is that, you know, our opponent's not doing a ton to do something about it, but, you know, he's not doing a lot of damage to us. He's literally doing 1 damage to us a turn, but he's certainly ready to deal with what we've got. So we play another Hagrid Needs Help, and we're attempting to remove our opponent's access. Again, those actions. He uses Professor McGonagall's once per game ability to discard the adventure your opponent has played. Another one of the reasons that McGonagall is such a powerful starting witch. And she's going to go ahead and just scoot Hagrid Needs Help right to the discard pile. We still have 1 action, so we play the Black Bat. Now things are starting to heat up a little bit. Black Bat and the Gargoyle are going to be slapping 3. The Owl is clapping back for 1, and we've got real low damage thresholds here, but still consistent damage. I mean, and it adds up. Those pennies add up. Another Picking on Neville is coming down here, and we're probably going to elect to pick on one of the air magical creatures. Yes, it looks like that's exactly what we did. I love that we played another Hagrid Needs Help. I love this shit. Eventually, you're going to have to figure it out. There it is. We're going to make you solve one, honestly. We're going to make you help Hagrid. It's not like he doesn't need help. And sure enough, Morel decides, all right, Hagrid, I'll help you. It takes 8 damage. Probably opting not to draw. Oh, he did draw. Very interesting. Dealing 3 free damage to himself for Frizz there. It's exactly what Frizz wants. He wants to nickel and dime him all the way to 0. The nature of the owls. Tiny little efficient buggers. And another Gargoyle coming down. I'll tell you what, this tawny owl is putting in work. If not only because he's reducing the amount of damage these Gargoyles are doing significantly. He's also been down since the beginning of the game, and he's probably gotten a decent chunk of damage out of it. I'm sure he's got numbers up there. He's got numbers on the board. Guaranteed.
Wherever you go, I'm always with you.
Okay, chat. I finished my giant thing of water, which means now I'm going to have a drink that's not good for me. It's up to you guys. Are we having Pepsi Blue? Or are we having Mountain Dew Major Melon? Both of those are really whimsical. So hopefully you can have fun making me decide which one of those I'm going to drink. Can you guys even believe that Pepsi Blue is back? Incredible.
This time I'll protect you.
Why is that even a question, bro? Because Pepsi Blue is like it's a fucking miracle that it exists again. Hasn't graced this planet with its presence in damn near 2 decades. But Major Melon is also delicious. So, the Major it is. Get ourselves a Major Melon in just a second here. Right after this round. Right after these messages.
That's right. We were together.
Yeah, things are getting a little bit wild now, right? We've got barn owls coming down, and they're just putting creatures back into our hand. We've got the Babby Dragon Army. Drink a twisted tea like an alpha male. I don't really go to the liquor store like ever. Nothing against, those people. Yeah, that's not a thing here, bro. That doesn't exist. There's no such thing. Drawing the sword. Gonna go ahead and zoop through these guys. Yo, bro, to me, it's wild that it's at your target. Look, I'll concede that that we should probably be able to buy liquor and like Target and insert quick stop here. But you guys pumping your own gas, this shit's wild. Why would you ever want to do that? When it's nice and cold outside, dude, some dum-dum who's paid to do it pumps my gas, and I stay in my nice warm car. Excellent. I highly recommend it. Creatures versus creatures. It is actually a fun matchup because this guy's doing he's got a, I mean, come on. We all know that Nicola's going to be playing Draco, but Draco with items and owls, I didn't expect that angle. So we've got the Ilops, we've got owls just going ham over here, and baby dragons are on the field. Come on, Sammy, there's got to be a couple things in here that bring a smile to your face. We even, look, I'll tell you what, we saw Slytherin's Basilisk. It was the first time I've ever seen it actually hit the table. It came into the play, and it literally said, yeah, how about we go to game 3? Basically what happened. Are there like burn spells? Yes, Tyler, there sure are. So this is maybe not exactly a burn spell, but he just won the game by using 2 spells that dealt damage, but they used the creatures to deal damage. Charms has a lot of like mid-rangey burn stuff. Quidditch usually has like deal some damage and do a thing, so it's like deal some damage and discard a card, deal some damage and return something from play to their hand. And then potions has just like usually like you take some time putting something together and then it deals big dick damage, which I guess is great potion flavor, right? You're sitting there, you're concocting a potion, you're getting the ingredients, you put it together, and then poof, big strong potion. But I would say that the most popular win conditions are forced draw, creature damage, and yeah, I mean, I want to say burn spells. Burn spells find their place. They're usually more like a part of a strategy than the whole thing. Give me an Aragog deck. Well, we could, dude. Guess what? The Revival team made an Aragog card. There's actually a whole series of Aragog cards. They're really cool. There's Baby Acromantula as a creature, and when you play it, it searches for other Baby Acromantulas, so you kind of swarm the spiders. And then Aragog is like it buffs all your spiders. Makes sense, right? And then there's a location, Aragog's Lair, which makes all your spiders better. And then there's a Forest Spider, who's cheaper for all the other spiders you have in play. So you go full spider tribal there, Tyler. We need 1 or 2 more spiders. Yeah, we need spider tribal. Spider aggro, dude. There you go. Sounds like we're playing Runeterra. Yeah, I remember that. I remember absolutely clapping people with that Elise deck when all that stuff started. I became more of a Fiora guy, though. I love alternate win conditions. Let's see what's going on in here. Hiding from Snape. Goodness. That's a hell of a sideboard card. I've not seen this. Stops your opponent from playing item cards, and they have to choose 4 item cards in the hand and discard them. And then they get to look for any card and put it in their hand. So it's actually the same reward as escaping the Dursleys. That's interesting. Armando Dippet is in play here. Ready to just deal a little bit of extra damage every turn. Quirrell, this is Parker was fishing all over for Quirrell in his last round and unfortunately just couldn't find it to save his life. Seems like he got there this time. What's interesting in this matchup is Elvis isn't really Elvis. I'm always going to call him that. Michael isn't actually doing anything with creatures, but Quirrell does return all items to hand. So he went ahead and probably zooped a couple cauldrons and wands and stuff. Arthur coming down and he got to deal 7 damage with the sickle. And I'll tell you what, Hagrid needs help isn't going to be nearly enough to make this next turn weird for Michael, because Michael's just like, yeah, I mean, okay, I'll pop the sickle and now, oh no, I only have 3 actions per turn. I think I'll just not help Hagrid for now. I mean, it's not a bad idea to help Hagrid just so you don't lose another action, but yeah, you're not so concerned about it because you're dropping these sickles. Neville Longbottom is interesting. This is a card that I think poor Neville really doesn't work against too many things, right? Most of the time creatures aren't dealing too much more than 8 damage. If they are dealing more than 8 damage, it's like negligibly more than 8 damage. Like the difference between 8 and 10 isn't really that crazy once you get up to 8, right? Once you're at more than 10% of your opponent's deck every attack. Spells are also usually kind of like mid-range burn, and then he doesn't do anything to stop forced draw, which is a very potent style of dealing your opponent damage. The 2-action investment for this guy just feels a little bit under. No, this is too quiet. All right. Parker, I just noticed this, and this makes me so happy that Parker's image is just Hagrid needs help with Hagrid's head in his hand. Dude, whenever we play this locally, whenever we're testing Hagrid needs help, or just testing decks, and we play down Hagrid needs help, we always just start doing, like, so my friend Frank, I'll be like, oh, Frank, oh, please, I just need some help. Can't you just help me with it? And he'll be like, oh, Hagrid, I don't want to help. And we'll just... always like, oh, and then he solves it, and then we'll take another Hagrid out of the discard pile and be like, come on, please, just, please. He just needs so much help, dude. Look at him, he's helpless. He's so sad. Oh, could you just come down to the pumpkin patch, please? Some help. He changed it during the May tournament. I'm not sure what happened, but something happened in one of his matches. Hagrid needs help seems crazy. Yeah, Hagrid needs help is very good. Well, so technically, Tyler, they can opt to not draw 3, so they just take 8 damage and they only get 1 action. Yeah, the limiting the action thing, even if they solve it, is really powerful. The fact that it's the 8 damage is great. And honestly, you're just playing it in these decks where normally it's like either you're a neutral play or it's actually a proactive play. Like right now, Parker's just chilling, dude. He's not trying to do anything specifically to attack his opponent. He has a ton of like just value generating characters in play. So we can talk about this a little bit, Tyler. So look at all these crazy characters Parker's got. Parker is playing a character deck. Now, we're going to go over 2 different things real fast, because remember, there are only 2 cards that I said you need 2 actions to play. Adventures and characters. Well, Parker's deck likes to change the rules. Lockhart's Hair Care Potion is an item, because whenever you play a character card, you use 1 action to play it, instead of 2. And Fred and George Weasley say you may use 1 action instead of 2 to put an adventure card from your hand into play. So we actually only played 1 action for Hagrid Needs Help. So Hagrid is already neutral because he took the action from our opponent no matter what, right? So basically free 8 damage. And Lockhart's hair care potions made Fred and George cost 1 less. So like this is supposed to take a whole turn, and this is supposed to take a whole turn, and technically we could have gone just like bop, bop, bop. Easy. We talked about Hannah Abbott in the last round rather, and here she is doing her thing still. Very strong. Yeah, that's part of the joke, Tyler, where we say, like, of course you're going to help Hagrid. Who wouldn't help Hagrid? What we actually mean is, like, yeah, of course you're going to solve it. What are you going to not solve it this turn and then solve it next turn and you lost a second action? Like, of course you're going to solve it and you're going to solve it right away. Right? Of course you're going to help Hagrid. Who wouldn't help? What kind of monster wouldn't help Hagrid? Just look at him. Hannah was the winning starter of the tournament. That's true. Yeah, while Hannah Abbott was used to effect in the finals, I think that deck largely could have used a number of starting characters other than Hannah. But she was there, man. She did it. She did the thing. She was a Hufflepuff who was at the top of her game. The nice thing about having Hannah as your starter is I guess they can never play their own Hannah, and they can never do anything about you having access to that. And it does bring up that keyword. Tyler has heard me say this word a million times in Final Fantasy, and it's about time the Harry Potter people started hearing me use the term inevitability way too much. Hannah Abbott has that inevitability where if she's sitting there as your starting character, this is going to happen. At some point, I am going to trade 2 cards in my hand for 2 better cards. They are going to be cards that are going to help me. They are probably going to be cards that are going to threaten to win the game. It's gonna happen. So you just basically, you should play every turn as if it's happening. We're healing with Bruised Wart Balm here to put some of these characters back into the deck. It's worth highlighting Grip Hook here, Tyler, and Grip Hook and Peeves are characters that kind of show you how a deck that just invests in all of these characters that do extra stuff actually ends up winning a game. The idea is you slow down what your opponent can do, and then you hit them with things like Grip Hook. Grip Hook is once per game you make your opponent discard their hand, and then they draw however many cards they discarded that way. And then Peeves, who's back here, is once per game you can discard your hand and then draw 7 cards, and your opponent discards their hand and draws 7 cards. So what's cool about both of those is you notice they didn't say that you have to use an action to do that. So while you do have to spend actions to play those characters, Peeves and Grip Hook just chill on the table. And there's going to be a turn where you can use your actions to do something else, and then you can use Grip Hook and you can use Peeves. Grip Hook, like, is often used to kind of be the killing blow, but a really cool thing that you can do is if you're going to Peeves anyway, right? We both discard our hands and draw 7, like the old imposter Professor Oak, or Professor Oak, all that stuff. If I'm just using it to draw up 2 cards in my hand, I'm going to make you draw a bunch of cards. I'm going to make you draw, let's say you have like 9 cards in your hand with Grip Hook. I'm going to make you draw another 9 cards, and then I'll just activate Peeves and make you discard your hand of 9 and go down to 7. And sometimes it's way more than 9. I was pretty conservative with that example. But yeah, you just make them draw like 15 cards, sometimes way more. This is, again, like I said before, is the revival format. In the classic format, we had a Ron character deck. So Ron has this ability, Lockhart's Hair Care Potions, but it's on the starting character. So from the very beginning of turn 1, you could play characters for 1 action. So you just really abuse that, and you play a lot of really strong characters, and you do a lot of things on your turn that don't actually cost you an action. So you're using, basically, we're calling them virtual actions. You're going to use like 6 or 7 virtual actions on your turn, right? And in a game where you're only supposed to do 2. So it gets really, really efficient, really powerful, really fast. This card is disgusting. Seamus Finnegan. This card breaks the rules too. You get to discard 2 cards from your hand to get another action once per turn. Absurd. 50% more. You can do 50% more. Scourge making it into this deck, pretty cool. But yeah, so he's gonna do like, you know, in the Ron deck, you would play, again, there's more cards in the deck that are banned, but basically you would put your opponents into an adventure lock similar to Haggard Needs Help, where they actually just like can't play cards from their hand. And you're also using, remember we saw that card before Dobby's disappearance, and you're taking cards from the table and you're bouncing them back to their hand while they're under the thing that says they can't play cards, right? And then their hand gets big and you're like, hey, how many cards are in your hand? You're like, you know, 15. You're like, yeah, I'll use Grip Hook, I'll use Peeves. Good game. Can get pretty gross. That's not what's going on here, though. Back into this game, we've got all kinds of stuff on the table. Michael's shaking the flying car. He wants to use this to get out of Haggard Needs Help. He's lived at Haggard's long enough, and I think that honestly, because he had the flying car, he decided that he was just going to wait for this instead of deal with Haggard Needs Help. I would have liked it if we just dealt with the Haggard Needs Help, I think. Just a few turns earlier to have that extra. Wait, why didn't we shake that and then moved it to play? Oh, he used Arthur Weasley on the flying car. He didn't actually use the flying car to get rid of Haggard Needs Help. I can't believe, so this is really interesting to me, and maybe he'll get away with it, but think of just the number of actions that we've given away to Haggard Needs Help at this point. It's so many. Like, he's just sitting here. He's about to take another one. I actually would like to know how many actions we've taken with this turn, or this game rather. Yeah, that's pretty gross. Squirrel is gonna go to our wait, no, not to hand, right? Where'd that go? Did we heal those in? Yeah, we snaped those back in. All right, magical mess remover. Oh, yep, it's in our hand. I was gonna say we must have a magical mess remover. Okay, here's another layer to this wonderful pie we're making here, Tyler. So magical mess remover lets you choose any number of your own cards in play and just get rid of them. So we're just gonna get rid of all the stuff that says once per game, right? And then we'll play it again. So we saw him get Quirrell, right? He's in hand, and he has this one here. One thing that Quirrell can do is he returns all items in play to their owner's hands, items and creatures. So next turn, if we magical mess, and then we play Quirrell and activate it, we're gonna bounce back all this stuff our opponent has, and our opponent's board is literally going to become 3 Charms Lessons. So I mean, it's gonna buy us the time, hopefully, that we need. What, this is about to be a crazy turn. Watch this. This is gonna be nuts. Look at his board. Take a picture in your mind. All right, magical mess remover happens first. You get rid of Hannah Abbott. You get rid of Quirrell. You play Quirrell and there they go. Dude, if only he had Grip Hook right now, dude, right? If Grip Hook was in play. Bleh. And the thing is, we never solved this Haggard, right? So now we're chilling here, and he's still taking another action from us. So this is the cardinal error, right? If we now solve Haggard, which, oh, we still chose not to do it. I was gonna say, if we now solve Haggard, if at any point, if ever you're going to solve this, then it doesn't matter when you solved it. You should have just solved it right away, right? You should have solved it the first turn immediately. So I guess we've committed. I mean, you know what? At least it's right to commit to never solving it. We'll just see if it's enough to win. He's got his opponent down to 10, so it could be. You know, he just needs to kind of build a little more. This is really difficult for him underneath the Haggard Needs Help. He can't really even cheat his way back up to another. I mean, he can play a book, right? And the book can pop him back up to 5. But he can't get any of the combos off. He can't ramp underneath Haggard Needs Help. And we are playing Pomfrey, and this is a really big one here for Parker. This is real big. So Pomfrey heals 12 cards, right? Obviously, that's her whole thing. She's the school nurse, and we're just going to put all of our best stuff right back into our deck and double the size of our health pool. Make sure we're getting all the Grip Hooks back in there, because especially under the Haggard Needs Help, he's just not going to be able to dump this hand. So yeah, we're just running out potions. Oh, it looks like he so we changed our adventure, and this is another cool thing that Fred and George can do. So Fred and George let you pay for adventures for only one action, but also they let you replace an existing adventure. Normally, if there's an adventure in play, you can't play another one. So if your opponent's dealing with it just fine, you kind of mess yourself up because you can't change it to a different one. But Fred and George say, yeah, actually go ahead, change it to whatever you want. So now we've changed it to Escaping the Dursleys, which says our opponent can't play any cards that aren't lesson cards. And to solve it, our opponent has to discard their whole hand. And then they get to search for any one card. So our opponent has a billion cards in his hand and is only going to be able to play the lessons, but he did have a lot of lessons in his hand, and I think this actually might be fine for Michael up here. He's going to just play these, solve this, and get an 8-cost bomb, right? Something big. He's going to leave it? And now this is the Galaxy Brain stuff that if Parker had another adventure, he should change it, right? Like he should change this back to Hagrid needs help. Although he shouldn't, because Self-Stirring Cauldron is actually gonna make this next turn real gross. Dursleys are too strong, you can't escape. Yeah, so anytime that one of our like in-house terms for leaving an adventure in play and just suffering through whatever the effect is, we call it like living at, like, because the first time it ever was the Dursleys, so we're like, I'm just gonna live at the Dursleys. And then Hagrid, we would just stay under Hagrid. You're like, I'm just gonna live at Hagrid's. Taking on Neville. Gonna go ahead and try and attack the mana base here. Yeah, you're just gonna let him get rid of that one. I think Parker's actually he's desperate for Grip Hook here. He's running out of resources, and I think that that this is a solve that Michael should just do. I am shocked he didn't solve this last turn. He is really just rolling the dice on us not drawing any of the Grip Hooks we just healed back into our deck. You know what I mean? Like, think about how much worse Parker's win condition is here if his opponent gets rid of all the cards in his hand. Yep, he's gonna solve it. Of course he's gonna solve it. He just got rid of our best way out, right? I think, unfortunately. And he's gonna go get a Bullseye Potion. No, he's not up to 10 yet. What's he at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's probably not even sure really what he wants to get. Christmas Feast is the play because he gets 4 items into his hand. If he has Christmas Feast, but it looks like there's 3 Christmas Feasts in the discard piles already. There might still be one in the deck. I would snap grab this card if it was in my deck still. Nope. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. This Brewed Polyjuice is going to count the number of characters your opponent has in play into the discard pile and deal that much damage to him. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. God, it's gross that he is committed. He is 100% committed to characters, and we can't kill him with it. But 5 cost, 11 damage is absurd. So that's pretty strong. Also, he's going to turn off one of the character's abilities. Probably Seamus. Actually, I mean, it doesn't really matter. None of the guys in play are doing much for me. He's going to turn off the Seamus. Makes sense. It's still the best call. Wait, hold on. Did they take enough damage for this? Mr. Brewed Polyjuice is end of their discard pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real? Or not?
Ah, yeah, they got me. They're right. They're right. It was Neville. It was Neville. Neville prevented the damage. Alright, so wait, how much damage did Neville prevent? Because we were talking earlier about him being kind of negligible. Right, so it was 1. See if we prove our own hypothesis. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he actually prevented 9 damage there. And oh, look at that. He stopped us from losing. So I'll give that one up for Neville. Good job, Neville. We might have even sideboarded him in which case worked out. All right, these guys are reporting there's time in the round. Revival team, Sammy's he's here, he's watching. This is just more proof. I think that we really gotta change up the time rules for Revival tournament. We gotta make it so that when time is called, they get +3 turns. It's pretty standard, I think, for trading card games. It just makes it so that when time in the round is called, you're not just like, and that's time and that's it. GG. You know, it gives them kind of like, okay, all right, time's up. We both get 2 more turns, and then the game can maybe sometimes get actually decided. Yeah, they didn't finish. Because currently it's that the game just ends at the end of that player's turn. All right. I mean, I know these guys are playing some crazy late game decks, and it's up to them to scooty the booty. I'm just saying, I think that's should revisit that. Because it's just, hey, I'm the guy who wants to move the tournament along, I get it, but you don't want it to feel bad either. Agreed, it's being talked about for next tournament. Sweet. Love that. Alright, Morel got that one too. 1. And Parker got that one. Alright. And round. All right. Players have got their pairings, although it's pretty obvious at this point. They're just playing whoever they didn't play against. That's my the classic Windows error sound sponsor of the day. Brought to you by Snipping Tool. Snipping Tool, the most advanced pairings technology we have available. All right, and we're going into our last round here. Well, I accidentally closed on time. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna start doing +3, right? Seems like we could just make that change for the weekly. I feel bad about how these rounds end, but I don't want to be here till midnight either. Also, it's practice. It's practice for tournaments. Alrighty. Waiting for table 1 to pop up, and then we will jump on in. We've got Michael versus Morel this round. Yeah, I just really don't like I don't like different rule sets, you know what I mean? I like things to be consistent. It's kind of the idea, but ideally that just becomes consistent, you know? I know I can do whatever I want in my tournament. So we try to keep it, you know, samesies. All right, we got these guys. There we go. All right. On screen. Its last initials I always forget. P. Michael P. Michael P. Morel M. Boot that a bit. All right. Last round of the night, guys. Wow, 19. Damn near as close as he could get to the perfect roll. Taking a commanding lead already. We're jumping into this one. Is going to be Draco versus McGonagall. Draco's misbehaving, and McGonagall, well, she's got to try to rein it in. McGonagall has an army of gargoyles, and Draco, he's got all kinds of items. Anything money could buy, and money as well. Pockets full of it. As we got nut in our hand, but oh no, it is not quite the nut open, as we like to call it, because he does not have a charm lesson. But that's fine. We'll go lesson. Actually, lesson Eli's lesson is pretty efficient here. But maybe we don't want to run out of that many cards in our hand that fast, but I like it. Yep, Eli's is coming down. Gonna go ahead and reveal the hand. Reveal eyes. We've got big gargoyles and a Hedwig. We're actually showing that we've got a pretty rough start. Did we mull into this? We must have mulled into this. We sure did. Unfortunately, it's okay. Because this is a very, very janky start for Morel. Morel's going to be able to drop this lesson and then kind of scratch his head. So it might just be a Hannah as the first turn. And hope that we draw into some better stuff. All right, well, at least we got a smaller gargoyle, but boy, oh boy, we need to set up. Interesting. We're gonna just opt to use an action to draw a card. It doesn't feel as bad when you hit a lesson, right? And then pass. But what I like here is, if we're gonna run a Hannah out at some point anyway, right? It's more efficient to play Hannah on the first turn, and then on the next turn we would have drawn this anyway, right? And then we would play that and play this. But if you're going to play Hannah at some point, why not just see 2 cards before you make another decision? So you run Hannah out turn 1, and we would have drawn this card. We would have been rewarded. We would have been rewarded for our faith in our deck, and we would have been playing 2 lessons next turn. Nice on curve. It's just a little, tiny little nitpicky, but you know. Meanwhile, wow, are we shooting straight to the moon over here? Michael's turn. What's funny is he doesn't even have anything to do with all of these lessons, so I don't even know that I agree that we should have cranked up with our self-stirring cauldron and everything, but he knows the deck pretty well. He says, familiar looking deck. These guys have jammed against each other too, so I think he knows that there isn't any real item hate that's inherent right up front in this deck. I'm sure we're going to be siding it in though. Michael's going to drop a nearly headless Nick. Now there's a character you don't see him play every day. He's got the old once per game search your deck. Looks like we're doing it right now. Going to look for 2 item cards and put them into our hand. He's a really nice piece of consistency for item heavy lists, especially if the items are critical to your strategy. And we've got the old Arthur Weasley in our hands, so I would say they are pretty critical to our strategy. And also our starting character is Draco. So items are the name of the game. We are going to go ahead and, in fact, get the other half of the Bullseye combo, Eel Eye, which we will actually be able to afford quite easily here in upcoming turns. We did, of course, use both our actions on old Ned, nearly headless there. We're going to get Lucius's Cane as well. Now, this is really cool because this actually color fixes for us, guys. Look at this. Guys, it's happening. It's happening. The thing is happening. He's color fixing into charms with Lucius's Cane. Watch him just top deck a Charmless and just ruin the majesty of it all. Nearly Headless Nick is your favorite Harry Potter art. Sammy, I will send you. Do you want a Japanese Nearly Headless Nick? I will send one to you. Foil Japanese Nearly Headless Nick. Send me your address. It's not a joke. PM me. Cane is powerful. I love the cane. Oh, Nearly Headless. I think it's funny that he's facing us now because the card is tapped. He's giving us a look. Hey, Frank is in chat. Oh my goodness, Frank, is this as a Mandarin Monkey emote? I love it. That's amazing. Nick couldn't care any less than he does in this picture. He's so over hairy shit, and it's hilarious. He's quite tired of Peeves shit too. We got the old Sandstone Gargoyle coming down, but boy oh boy, we've got items galore on Michael's side of the field, and the Cane finally fixing his colors, so he's able to start taking advantage of the charms part of his deck. The other half of the items. Christmas Feast, also very, very potent in this deck, just being able to get that much action back to your hand. This card is very efficient. This card's very good in item lists. I think this is a card that I slipped on a bit until started seeing it played more in the, just people jamming in these item decks. Especially with things like the new, some of these new revival cards, like the Basilisk Fang and things like that, that are in Lucius Cane, just items that are strong for reasons other than just being, these little generators that trick Malfoy. Arthur Weasley is going to come out, and he's going to be ready to deal the pain, as we're probably converting these into a Bullseye next turn, and that's going to be the old 23 damage between Arthur and the potion. So that's pretty terrifying. I think actually Morel's going to figure out what he's going to do about that. It looks like we're just going to play out some creatures, which is fine. Just kind of try and keep dealing that damage there. But the nut is going to pop. And we are ready to go. We've even got a Bullseye in our hand. That's pretty gross. But yeah, we don't have 10. So we're gonna go ahead and this pay an action, toss those, get one of these. It comes into play, gives us the action back. We're still at 2. Then we're gonna use Arthur to toss it at them, and then we're gonna use the action on the Bullseye to toss it at them. We're gonna hit him for 23 damage. Alternatively, we're going to play another Self-Stirring Cauldron and super overcommit into the board. And now we're at 10. And now we can play Bullseye naturally next turn all by ourselves. Oh, that's true. It's when you when you use an action to play an item card and you're not using an action to play an item card, you're using an action to discard these and then you're putting that into play. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just drop a bullseye and have Arthur shake, and he's gonna throw that at him, and then he's gonna crack that for the damage. So we just built to 10 and we did it a little slower, but now we're sitting at 10. And again, like I said, there's, you know, he's getting a little greedy with this stuff, but it doesn't matter because he's fairly confident that Morel's gonna have to sideboard in the item hate and that it's not just naturally sitting there. So now Elvis actually has a little window here, right? He's got 3, 5. You can do another 5. And he's probably trying to count this out right now because he's got the Steel Claw. It's gonna hit him here. Unfortunately, not quite enough, right? We're gonna hit him for 13. And then Arthur is going to throw whatever his favorite item or appliance is at us. Yeah, I mean, we don't even need to do this, right? We already have the Eel Eyes and the Beetle Eyes in play. That's GG, so we go to game 2. Time to side in that item hate. I tell you, watching Parker use Quarrel to return a board that looked like that was pretty satisfying. Yeah, one of his appliances. I don't know. The guy, he collects cords, man. He collects plugs. He loves plugs. His favorite. All right, of course, Morel is going to take the play. Both these guys are still making those sideboard adjustments. I'm taking another bite of my pizza. And all is well. Players are confirming their sideboards. Searching through the deck, making sure it's got everything we need. Wow, Morel didn't sideboard? Huh. I don't think so. By looking at the logs, it doesn't look like he sideboarded. Whoa, woof. That is some action. I mean, that's not bad at all. You're a creature's aggro deck, bro. You're gonna go bam, bam. Then you're gonna slam this, then the black bat, then another one, then the gargoyle, then the baby dry. You got all the action you need for the next like 2 or 3 turns, man. You are set. Green means go. The only better thing would be if you were sitting there with a pair of pocket 3-drop gargoyles, pocket sandstones. Wow. Michael's gonna have a pretty good start himself, dropping down those 2 potions, but again, you know, really wants to see charms earlier than he did last game, that's for sure. We do have the Holidays with Hags that we can play down as another lesson, but actually, I take it back, he doesn't have a very good start. I thought this was a 2-cost book at first, but it is 3 costs, so in fact, we're gonna be using actions to draw cards, I believe, off the top of our deck. Things are looking so hot. Oh, thankfully we did find a charms lesson. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and windmill slam that onto the table, and oh my god. Oh no, the hits keep coming. This game is, I mean, it's so straightforward, but this is so much pressure for Morel. This is exactly what he wants to see. He plays out another lesson and gets the big marble gargoyle down. Next turn's a double gargoyle turn, then into the baby dragon. Man, this is going quite well for creatures, I think. All right, we're starting to see our lessons, but oh boy. Over the next 2 turns, we are going to be taking an awful lot of damage. Seven is about to turn into, yeah, 15, right? Yep. This is the, do you have something? Deal with it. Do you have something? Deal with it. Come on, what are you gonna do? Oh, Tyler, you know I have the alert box turned off for Harry Potter Night. I should turn it back on. But he gifted a tier 1 sub to Frank Diaz. Frank, you are now equipped with 5 new emotes to spam in channels. Your power has grown. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate you, sir. My captain. Oh, captain, my captain. Tyler, who do you think is going to take this one? You think it's going to be Draco, or you think it's going to be Professor McGonagall? You've got about a cumulative, what, a couple hours under your belt now of Harry Potter observation? Excellent. That's what I like to hear. It's looking like probably McGonagall right now. I've been watching Gilmore Girls. That's what I like to hear. That's great. Excellent. I don't know anything about that show, but I know that when I go stay at my one friend's house, at Chris Adams' house, you know Chris, of course. When I stay at Chris's house, I drink out of a Gilmore Girls coffee cup. Yeah, you got to stay up to date. I see. All right, so yeah, we've got another gargoyle or this gargoyle is already out. Sorry, the forest troll is coming down, and we drew a card. Huh? We used an action to draw a card from our deck. I mean, oh, the double Fumos. Finally, we get there. So he drew another Fumos, he built up to it, he got to 7, and he plays 2 Fumos to do 4 damage. It's a board wipe, ladies and gentlemen. And the baby dragon hears the call and responds in kind, ready to start churning 3 damage every turn, and it's still a lot. I mean we're on a 6-turn clock. Less than that, right? Because we're drawing us 5-turn clock. So the question is, can Michael kill him in 5 turns? Morel's hand is looking pretty samey. That's the old land flood right there. Substitute cat. It lets him search for a 2-drop creature. Well, actually, he can just jam more lessons. Yeah, that's exactly what he's gonna do. He's like, wow, substitute cat, sweet. I can use this to get Hedwig if I get to 6, and that can get me another creature. Or you can go right to 7 and get the, Actually, right, you just go to 7 and you get Welsh Green Dragon. Pretty good. Ooh, we're racing now. Arthur is throwing a Bullseye Potion at McGonagall, who is very rude, very rude. And we're going to use an action to use the Bullseye Potion. That's going to be another 13. A close one. Oh, Hannah Abbott isn't bad, but I think we just go for this. Maybe not, because that's 3 turns. Hannah is better because Hannah, then we trade 2 cards for 2 creatures. We just play them next turn. It's more effective, faster. You even trade it for the black bats, I think. Alright, we play Hannah. We use it. We get 2 black bats, we pass. He takes another 3 and then draws for turn. Or sorry, he won't take 3. Took it already. Well, that's a little, I mean, hey, we got there, though. We got the, Pixie. We're gonna go for the Ollivander. You're gonna take the Ollivanders, you're gonna tuck it right underneath your Pixie. Right under your Pixie. And this is cool because, this is kind of like Zidane, Tyler. This is, this card is you play this creature and you look at your opponent's hand and you take a card out of it, but then you put it underneath Corner's Pixie, and when Corner's Pixie leaves the field, they get it back. But that's going to stop him from going to get the Bullseye Potion out of the discard pile. We actually just used Corner's Pixie to prevent ourselves from losing next turn. Pretty cool. It did the thing. We've had a couple revival cards just do the thing, which is nice to see, man. We drew an Arthur turn. Not quite the stacked top deck we were looking for, but I think we dare to go 1 card deeper. Oh, we're gonna play a Beetle Eyes. What's the effect even against? This is the one where you just deal 4 damage, right? Yeah. You can run another one out and deal another 4. Yeah. And then use Arthur and throw 1 at them to deal 5, and he gets 1 more turn. Wow, I think actually he might have got there. This is Morel's last turn now. Oh man. This was a close game. I think that Michael took this one. I think this is yeah, reset and shuffle. He got there. He got there with playing 2 Beetle Eyes manually and having Arthur throw a Beetle Eye. That's pretty cool. It dealt 12 damage to him, and he's only going to draw 1 card. He just didn't have enough action on the board to kill him. So I guess Morel had 2 turns from the turn where we were looking at whether he should have gone Hannah or whether he should have built up towards the dragon, and that turn he opted instead to manually draw a card and play the Ollivander. So I think that was good, or sorry, not the Ollivanders, the Corner's Pixie. I think that worked out for him because Ollivanders would have been game right there. I don't know, I think he was probably already pretty done at that point. I don't know that any of the other lines work out too differently for him. Yeah, very close game. Oh, that was the 2-0? That's right. So we go to oh no, this is 2. See what these guys are doing. Oh, my fancy transitions are gone. Keep forgetting to go to my switching table. A lot of Draco tonight. It's cool. Tawny Owl. Non-healing item. Probably one of the books. Oh, he already took the card we missed. All right, Parker is looking like he's just establishing more of that nice build. Gets the Hannah down. Is going to trade actually right now. Find himself 2 cards of choice from the discard pile. Oh yeah, you guys want to jam one on stream? We can jam a bonus game. I'm down for that. Why not? Basilisk Fang coming down. Oh, Basilisk Fang is what we chose. Sorry, I just saw it get shaken. I forgot you could shake your opponent's card. So Basilisk Fang, he's going to decide, I'm going to toss 2 lessons instead of let you picking on double the Basilisk Fang. And pretty confident that you just drew that off the top and played it. You know, I don't think you're going to come for Basilisk Fang with another card this turn. I'd rather just keep it for now. Hagrid needs help. Oh boy, does he. He needs so much assistance. He's asking for help. Please, oh Snape, please, won't you help? And we did, in fact, help Hagrid because we aren't monsters, are we? So we're discarding 8 cards from our deck. And maybe deciding whether or not we want to draw 3. I think the draw 3 would actually be very nice for him right now. Yep, we are going to... Oh, baby, that's what we're talking about. I think that Parker was actually in a little bit of a position where he was really hurting for cards and like action and stuff to do, like a relevant number of cool stuff to do on his turn. And solving that Hagrid actually just really helped him kind of catch up a little bit on the card advantage there. Looks like we are opting to Snape now and healing back 7 cards. Mostly characters, Scourge, that. Why is it? It's to reuse the characters, I suppose. Haven't seen it used yet. Would like to. I want to see more revival cards do the thing. Shuffled all those cards back into his deck, and look at that. They even themselves out at a 41 apiece. Seems like this game has got a little bit left to go, for sure. Discarding Grip Hook and Seamus to gain an action. Interesting that we would discard Grip Hook. We're going to play Dumbledore Suspension. Oh, baby. Dumbledore Suspension, ironically, being used to disable Draco Malfoy. Maybe it's more like Dumbledore Suspended Draco. Arthur's coming down. Taking on Neville, probably going to hit Arthur and one of the items. We're going to probably opt to get rid of our, I guess, slow acting venom and a potion. Oh, one of each. Mm-hmm. All right, we got Neville is blasted out of the discard pile. Oh, we're just gaining an action there. Oh no, he drew it from main deck. He took the damage from that slow acting venom, and then this is Arthur throwing something at him. Now Parker's turn. He's going to top deck a Picking on Neville, and he's going to just go ahead and use that. Scoot those guys out of the way. Peeves. We're gonna go ahead and play Peeves and use it. Both players will discard their hands and draw 7. Both players actually probably pretty happy with that. Gaining an action here. Oh, actually, we had cards in hand pre-Peeves, right? No, I guess he only had 1 card in his hand after Peeves. Want to make sure that he couldn't have gained an action before discarding, you know, extra cards. Fundamenus is going to go ahead and choose an item in play and trash it. Going to get rid of magical drafts and potions. Interesting. Oh, they choose one and they get rid of it. I'm sorry. My bad. I was like, why wouldn't you get rid of one of the bigger ones? It looks like we're going to play another Fundamenus, which is going to force us to choose one of our 6-cost items and take 6 damage. Pretty cool. Discarding 2 to gain an action, it seems. Imagine just using the action to draw a card. Yep, of course. Passing the turn here. Tawny Owl. Tawny Owl is going to get us another one of these items from our pile. It's a book. We need cards. We need cards. Magical drafts and maybe not yet. And Picking on Neville is going to be probably targeted at the venom. Yep. About to get scratched to death by these little owls. Pepperoni pizza.
Words, we repeat them to ourselves again and again, but you know, the magic never worked. The only thing we're left with is regret.
Alright, so we're gonna play Quarrel. We're gonna activate them, and we're gonna return all items and creatures to their owner's hands. And that's gotta be it, right? Draw another card.
I don't want friends to die.
Oh, we're gonna play Scourge.
Fade away.
We're gonna discard charms, and we're gonna put a character back in our hand. Hannah Abbott, very cool.
I don't want battles where we have to lose.
Now Hannah Abbott is gonna go ahead and play herself again, and we'll get two whatevers from our discard pile. Go barn burner. Yeah, I mean, you know, Dumbledore's suspension is really slowing down Frizz over here. And Frizz has got quite literally the slow acting venom, slow bleeding his opponent for damage, because we've been able to kind of counter the Arthur and stuff. And the owls are just very, very, very low power. Hannah's back.
I look back.
Hannah says, trade 2 cards in your hand for win the game.
Here aren't.
So let's see that, please.
The ones who should be smiling with me aren't here.
Oh, that's right. He couldn't do anything after that. Not yet, anyway. Another owl. It's the barn owl. Barn owl is like you may discard. I like that. It's kind of a, you don't have to do it, but you can. Get a creature back to hand. Looks like we did not. Parker's turn. Scourge doing some work. Yeah, Scourge is you let them reuse these characters. Pretty cool. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. We're doing another one of these in a couple minutes, and I really have to use the restroom. This seems like a good time for me to go and come back, honestly. As we just chill. Alright, there we go. Hannah Abbott's getting used. Trading the 2 cards in her hand for... big question marks. Grandpa. Boy howdy. We are really puzzling out. We're not sure what we want for the second card. We're formulating a plan as we look through the discard pile. Looks like Colin Creevy makes the cut. And he's gonna get played. There we go. Alright. We did it. Alright, we played a grip hook, and we're using grip hook, and we're making our opponent toss 10 cards. Drawing 10 cards to their hand, and now, uh-oh, we're down to 6. And we do have a spent Peeves, a spent grip hook, but Colin Creevy is still all smiles, ready to make our opponent draw 3. Alright, it's time. It's time, owls. Fly. Show us that you can fly. Alright, the Alporium. Windmill slamming enough damage down here. Alright. We gotta make it happen. We got the Iclops. The Iclops. I don't even know if it was E. Is that EE? Right? Elops? Elops? I don't know what to call it. Owl Emporium. Making all of our owls do the Lord's work. 1 extra damage and having the extra health. So real quickly, this went from 3 damage to 6 damage a turn. That's not as ignorable. But, like we said, Colin, he's all grins. Ilops? Yeah, probably. They just snuck that extra E in there up front. Ilops Owl Emporium. Wait, did we just get got? We used Colin Creevy, but it wasn't enough. Oh no. This is where Millicent is, unfortunately. You're like, you would think that this would be able to kill a creature, but you just can't get there. Can't get there. We can't use more actions. You know, we can't do it more than once a turn. We can't kill any of the owls. So we're just gonna... We're gonna get scratched up. God, look at the deck count on this one. These guys, this was literally like watching 2 candles race each other to the bottom of the wick. The slow burn. Elops. Yeah, that's what keeps tripping me up, Frank. Whether it's Ilops or Elops. Elop. I don't know, man. I'm not magical enough. I'm clearly a muggle. These muggle eyes can't read that word. And that's it, man. And Parker scoops that one up to the Owls. Man, crazy close games in this last round. Oh wait, no, he doesn't scoop it up to the Owls. He gets the Owls. He hits the Owls for lethal. He reports the 2-0. I thought the Owls were clapping back. I thought we had a Basilisk Fang that we were able to use on him to get him, but I guess that Basilisk Fang, he'd already done the damage when I saw the Basilisk Fang come down, so he didn't. That was Parker taking that one. 2-0. So let me go ahead and get the reports in, and then we have our final result. Night. We have a bonus game between Frank and Michael, is this Frank? Am I right to assume this is going to be classic? All right, Frank, I'll be there in 1 second. I'm just posting the results for the event. I'm calling that deck Drake Howell Malfoy. Needs more owls. Oh, Frank, I don't see your game. Oh wait, there it is. The Dobby Lobby. Oh my God, the Dobby Lobby. All right, Frank, I'm ready to grab a drink. I'll be right I'll be right there. All right, oh my God, you guys are already in the room. All right, I'm gonna join.
I meant, forget that.
And then I'm gonna run and grab a drink real fast. Let me just change the names here. My head's all foggy. Like this is all right. We got a little exhibition match, a little bonus round. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll start this the game for the people. I'm gonna run and grab a drink. You guys go ahead and get started.
Got to you, but you're still alive.
BRB.
Praise be to heaven. Praise be to heaven.
Okay, I'm here. I'm here for the bonus game. Got my Mountain Dew that Tyler told me to drink. I'm ready. What do we got going on? We've got Seamus Finnegan versus Draco Slytherin. So it looks like Michael's playing the same deck that he was playing in the event today. Frank has got a Seamus deck. This actually might be this is looking pretty similar to Michael's deck, maybe a different version from the event. Is Frank playing Revival? He just may be. We've got Ron, youngest brother, in play. Hannah Abbott, McGonagall, Lockhart's Hair Care Potions, and a potion down. So we're already establishing a nice character deck build here. Seamus as a starting character means we'll always have access to this. Sorry, I just laughed because I was told I misspelled Ravenclaw. There's so many owls. Alright, so we've got Seamus always going to have access to his ability here. And now we've established some bonus characters in Hannah, Ron, youngest brother, McGonagall, Peeves, and Quirrell. Between Ron, youngest brother, and Peeves, we're ensuring that we're going to have plenty of card draw, plenty of gas for the Seamus Finnegan engine here to just keep on chugging.
Wherever you go, I'm always
Quirrell is here to deal with all that item nonsense and just be a generically good character. We're up to 3 already lessons, which is pretty nice for a character deck. When Frank draws a card for turn, depending on how the math shakes out, we're probably going to end up discarding both those cards to gain an action with Seamus, and then activating Ron, youngest brother, to draw 5 cards. Eel Eyes is going to go ahead and reveal the fact that Frank is just holding on to 1 potion lesson. Man. Valuable information for his opponent. We're going to use another action to draw a card from our deck for Michael, and that's a little bit lower than you'd like to see, but that's fine because Frank is a-okay with slow. He draws a BTJ off the top, and that's not quite enough for now. We're not going to be able to play that for a bit, so we're going to go ahead and discard 2, and we are going to activate Ron, youngest brother. So we gained an action with Seamus Finnegan, put our hand size to 0, then we could activate Ron, youngest brother, to use 1 action to draw 5 cards. So we drew Self-Stirring Cauldron, BTJ, Pomfrey, Hair Care, and Grip Hook. Self-Stirring is going to be nice to kind of accelerate the lesson base, but we're not sure if we want to do that yet. There's nothing that we're really building to at 4.
That's right. We were together.
We might be contemplating Hannah or Peeves plays, but probably going to end up... Yep, just go ahead and slam a character down. It is going to be Pomfrey. I think we're just arranging the hand a little bit as we're just kind of seeing what we can do. No need to run the Grip Hook out yet. Probably a pass, actually. Grip Hook coming down. Now, what's interesting here is if we opt to, we could Grip Hook, play Self-Stirring, then discard 2 to gain an action. We would be at 3 actions because Self-Stirring. Oh no, sorry, we'd be at 2 still. Then we can use Ron, youngest brother again. Oh, did our music end again? It sure did. Oh, this is a great song. Jamming out the old evil eyes, eel eyes, beetle eyes combo here, which is again, it's 2 actions away from 13 damage, and Frank is getting close to, almost twice that, so pretty low in the eyes of the bulge eyes. Pretty low in the eye of the bulge eye. Silver Unicorn Horn, that's a healer. You play this card, you put 2 non-healing cards from your discard pile to the bottom of the deck, and then you can use an action, you get to do that with 6 more cards. A little healing up front and a lot of healing on the back end. It's going to be Christmas Feast and Arthur going back into the deck. Just really looking for more of that action. Christmas Feast is not a healing card, but puts 4 more cards into your hand from your discard pile, so it's kind of a little sneaky thing you can do there. Because it doesn't put them into your, deck, so it's not a healing card. It puts them into your hand. But, so, it does have the same benefit of healing as getting to use copies of cards more than one time in a game. Ron Yoga's brother goes to discard. McGonagall to discard, gaining that extra action. We don't have a Creevy down yet. I would be surprised to see him come. Hair Care's down already. Mess Remover is in hand, so we can reuse Peeves and Grip Hook. We can go ahead and just Mess Remove the 2 of them right off the table easily. Probably want to use Hannah before you use the Mess Remover, though. Some dangerous stuff that Hannah can get, maybe not. Colin Creevy is going to come down as Frank's 7th character. 8th character. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, yeah, 8th additional character. I can't count. It's been a long day. We don't normally hit 3 hours of Harry Potter TCG action. Still got to do a 6 run after this too. Don't worry, I didn't forget you 6 lovers out there. We got our Kefka and Narsh practice runs that we've been doing all week. So we're playing another Silver Unicorn Horn, and we're healing 2 Bullseye Potions. One cool thing about that is you need to make sure that those are in the deck so that you can actually activate the Eel Eyes and the Beetle Eyes combo. And so the nice thing about the Silver Unicorn Horn is it allows us to guarantee that all that action is still in the deck, that we can still use these cards to their full potential. And looks like that's exactly what we're doing right now. We're using an action to discard both of those and to put a Bullseye Potion into play. Then we're probably going to activate it. Right, because we played 1, got the action back, 2, discard those, and now 3. Yep, we are going to activate it and deal Frank 13 points of damage. 17 would be, it's 13's already insane, but I saw the 7 at the end of his life total, and I was like, oh, 17. All right, Frank's going to draw 1. He's got the Grip Hook and the Peeves over here on the side. And the reason that he's got them over there tapped out is because he's trying to magical Mess Remover them. He's going to have access to another Peeves, but has to be really careful about that because he's going to be drawing himself real close to out of the game. Thankfully, Pomfrey can heal back 12 cards, so it could be a lot worse for him. Self-stirring cauldron. Yeah, that's not bad. Gonna go ahead and just trip 2 of those lessons up and turn them into 4 lessons. Accelerating up to 6. Oh no, we already got rid of 2 of them? So we actually did get up to 9, and we're gonna use Venomous Tentacular Juice. Uh-oh, and here it is, guys. So, oh no, we're healing this. Oh my god. Here it is, oh my god, he's doing it. We're healing these things back in with Pomfrey. But this is what Frank really needs, is he does need to get up to 9. I was wondering, I was like, how did this come out already and not return 2 of these lessons? Wow, okay. That's what happens when I look down to drink my soda. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. He's healing back items for Pomfrey, so it's going to be all the self-stirring cauldrons, of course the VTJs, some Dobby disappearances. This is exactly the kind of stuff he's looking for, right? He wants to get down 2 more lessons. He wants to play a self-stirring cauldron. Off of those 2 lessons, he can get to, get up to 8, get up to 9. He wants to play Venomous Tentacular Juice. He wants to be dobbying things to the hand to fill it back up. And the Hannahs aren't a bad call because we're going to be mess removering our Hannah away. So one other thing he wants to make sure he does, and this is kind of a mistake that I've made too before, you want to make sure that you're leaving 2 things that you would like to get back with Hannah right now in the discard pile, because you don't want to heal everything and then go to Hannah and be like, oh shit, I healed all the gas. I wouldn't be surprised to see. Let's make sure that we leave something in here so that we can get it back with him. Shooting Seamus out of the way so we can get all these things onto the table. 12 cards is a lot of cards. Move 9 cards to the main deck. Is that get to heal 3 more? Oh no, maybe he had healed a few earlier. Can't quite tell. A little golden there? He's just chilling. Frank's is running out again, like we were talking about. 2 more lessons. He's getting close. He's getting ready to hit those self-stirrings to pop off. Now Michael knows this is going up to a VTJ combo, so he wants to kind of make sure that he's getting enough action in this next turn before Frank gets all the way up to 9. And I did originally say when I started, oh, maybe he's playing Michael's deck from the revival event. No, Frank is definitely playing something that's much more tuned towards just the VTJ and not the Burrow combo. Seamus characters revival ready. Very cool. Another potions lesson for Mike. He got to the point where he is starting to activate Lucius Cane. Lucius Cane went ahead and threw a VTJ into the discard pile. But that's kind of okay, right? Because Frank's got access to, well, I guess he already left 2 in there. Hannah Abbott can access those for him. He does have 1 VTJ in hand, which means 3 of them are in the discard pile. So yeah, I'm not surprised to see Hannah getting activated right now. He is only actually, is this it? He has one VTJ in hand, so if he trades Hannah for a VTJ and a self-stirring cauldron, right, he drops the self-stirring cauldron, goes up to 9. VTJ number 1 makes our opponent draw twice the number of cards in our hand, so we draw 6, and that puts us to 9. Then VTJ number 2 makes us draw twice the number of cards in our hand, which is 9, which is 18. So we draw 18 plus 6 total, which is 24. I think that doesn't quite kill our opponent yet. So we're chilling. Oh, we have Seamus, though. We can activate Colin Creevy. We've got to have it. Never mind, we have it. Yeah. My bad. We activate Seamus, we gain an action. We Colin Creevy, we put 3 more cards into his hand. And then we blast him with the VTJs. That's right. Of course. I forgot we have the extra action for Seamus there. Or, sorry, for Colin there. So, yeah, now we definitely get our opponent. Now he's sitting here at 7. He draws 14. And then he draws, 42. Yikes. That stuff gets crazy real fast, VTJ. All right, game 2 in this best of 3. This is Revival. So there's some sideboard action if these players so desire to side. Meanwhile, guys, I'm getting my Final Fantasy 6 on. I'm getting ready. I'm getting primed. I'm ready to get this Kefka run tonight. I'm confident we're going to be able to beat our time. We've got a lot of places we can fix some gross mistakes. I wonder what these guys are going to sideboard in. We don't really get to sideboard too much in our testing. So I don't know what Frank's got as far as like sideboard ideas. I can't wait to see. All right, Frank's seen the start he wants here. He's got the Colin Creevy. Gets into the potion lesson. After gaining for an action. His opponent also having a nice, slow, easy start. Getting his 2 lessons, then lesson, then Eel Eyes. Still has an action. Looks like we might have used it to draw a card. Frank showed his hand to his opponent when the Eel Eyes came down, of course. And so he's got a clue. He knows this is Dobby, one of Dobby in there. He knows that the Peeves is in there, and he can kind of dictate or not dictate, but predict is the word I'm looking for. Sorry, what Frank's next turn is going to be. Frank is just going to go ahead and discard 2 to gain an action, drop the Peeves, and drop the Potions lesson, and pass the turn. He's going to make this Peeves as good as it can be for him and as bad as it can be for his opponent. you're Michael, what you do here is you start just trying to get your hand out onto the table and just dump it down so that the peeves isn't as bad for you either. Make sure it refills your hand as well. And we're just going to go ahead and drop 2 lessons. Nothing wrong with that. Drawing another Peeves for turn is a little weird. We're going to discard 2 into Seamus to gain an action at the beginning of our turn. Then we're going to use Peeves, and both players discard their hands and draw 7. We've got 3 actions to use and 3 copies of Ron's youngest brother, and I think I'm seeing a pattern here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to drop the hair care potion. And then we're going to play Ron youngest brother, and I imagine also a palm free. Nothing wrong with that at all. Now it's Michael's turn. He's still trying to build up here. The Mistbrewed Polyjuice isn't bad. You can use that, and you can turn off Seamus's ability next turn. He's probably sitting there counting the number of characters in Frank's discard pile. Mistbrewed Polyjuice right now is going to be hitting for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, it could definitely be more, but, 7 for a 5-cost spell is really, really good rate in Harry Potter trading card. Just reorganizing our characters a little bit here on Frank's side, looks like. He's scooting over to the side because he's used. Beetle Eyes comes into play, and now we've got the combo here. Beetle Eyes is going to deal 4 damage to Frank. Then we're going to pay an action and go get ourselves a Bulge Eye. Beetle Eyes did refund its action because of Draco. But I think we're going to be cracking this for 13 damage this turn, too. Indeed, we are. Frank would certainly like to see a little bit more action in this hand. But, you know what? It is what it is. Playing a bunch more lessons down, getting to that empty hand to activate Ron youngest brother seems to be just the working strategy for the Diaz brothers Finnegan revival decks, and I like it, dude. Ron youngest brother, card that I didn't give the time of day, never really looked at twice until we saw it in the revival event, and now I think everybody is kind of keen to how much card draw he can give you. Like, yeah, dude, I'm into paying 1 action for 5 cards. Sounds good to me. What will it be? Mistbrewed Polyjuice is coming down after Lucius's Cane. Mistbrewed Polyjuice is going to be tallying up that number. It's 4, 5, then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh god, hold on, he's sorting. Oh, he just took a lot more damage. So yeah, I'm not going to know what all of it was. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 18, 19, 20. Oh, God, 20. Misbrewed Polyjuice absolutely clapping. Bringing Frank down to 3. Gonna have to Pomfrey that stat. And we are, I think we might be going in game 3. I mean, Frank's gonna survive this one here with this Pomfrey, but man, he is certainly keeping an eye on the Misbrewed Polyjuice count for next game. What is this? What do I know this? Oh, this is Zora's Domain. Okay, we're going into the next one. Game 3. I love seeing these close games between players. Frank starting with a Ron youngest brother. That's nice. Get those draw engines down early as you can. We're answering with just a potion into the eel eyes. Take a peek at that hand. And then drop down the charms. That's always what Draco likes to see. He likes to see lesson, item, lesson. Nice clean start with a little bit of extra action advantage in there. Frank gonna go ahead and slam down a Hannah Abbott. Probably discard 2 to gain an action and play Transfiguration. Imagine you're having a tough one on between which of these to get rid of. You probably land on the Self-Stirring Cauldron. Yep. Thieves is better standalone than the Cauldron is. And there are less things that would make you inclined to keep both cards and not Ron youngest brother next turn for the Cauldron than there are things that would make you just take that play anyways, like probably the line you're taking. This time we are going to head and gonna play the Peeves. Then we're gonna activate our Ron, get all them Cardos. Or rather, sorry, we discarded Peeves and VTJ, then activated Ron, and then played a Peeves from hand. Of course, the order matters. We still got that Peeves though, so that's nice. Michael having a little bit of time to just build up on his mana base here. He's up to 4, but he's gonna need to get a lot higher than that. He does like those early greedy self-stirring cauldrons. There's not too much Frank can do to punish them. step for the Quirrell, but Quirrell is parked in Frank's. He sees that there's already 2 items in play. He knows that his opponent, I mean, look at that. All 5 cards in Michael's hand are going to make Quirrell better and better and better of a play. It's probably going to be held on to pretty hard by Frank here. No, in fact, he is actually going to be activating Peeves. So ignore everything that I said. Also, one thing that you always do when you have Seamus here, right, is you discard 2 cards from your hand first in order to just gain the extra action, since you'll be discarding them either way to the Peeves effect, and then you activate Peeves. And so you get 7 cards in hand with an extra action to boot. And Frank's already eyeing up a couple characters he'd really like to play. So we did also get the hair care potions. The Lockhart's hair care potions comes down, then McGonagall and Snape for sure. And that's really, really strong play. I mean, the fact that you get down 2 lessons, plus you establish your hair care potion, and the fact that the lessons are attached to, you know, adventure removal and healing, just like really, really efficient turn. Frank going from 2 to 4 and getting 2 more characters out. Frank does need to ramp just a little bit more to finally get to the BTJs, but we did see the other game how he was able, you know, he gets there, he gets just far enough, exactly what he needs to. You really want to walk that line, you know. You don't want to overwin. You want to win. Oh, so it looks like Arthur throws the Beetle Eyes at Seamus, and it hurts him exactly 5 damage worth. But Arthur is a nice consistent source of damage at least, so it'll be nice to see that. I can't tell what these guys are all doing. This is sequence here. He drew one, he played a potion, he played a Beetle Eye, then Frank took 4. Then Frank drew, played Self-Stirring Cauldron into his deck. And then just, he drew it, but he shouldn't have drawn it, he should have taken this damage. Because there's still Arthur, I guess. So then he took it because they forgot that Eli's, when he plays it, he gets the action back. Then he passes Frank. Okay, I got it. I figured it out. I puzzled it out. Ace Detective on the case. So he draws for turn. Frank opts to draw an extra additional card. He's going to discard 2 to gain an action. Those characters that he already has in play. And he's probably going to play 2 lessons here. Especially in a world where there's nothing like Caught by Snape. You know that you're just safe. As safe as can be to just windmill slam lessons onto the table. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Elias comes down. We get to see the hand. It's just a Lockhart's Hair Care and a Self-Stirring Cauldron. But the Self-Stirring Cauldron, that's great knowledge. Because right now you think he's just at 6, and all of a sudden, pop, he's at 8. Still 1 away from his critical mass of 9 power, 9 lessons. Wow, man, we're gonna have like 5.5 hours of uptime tonight with the Kefka and Narsh run after this. Probably should do more with my Tuesday, but that's alright. I love that this best of 3 has come down to this really close and cool game 3. Boo. So Frank plays the Self-Stirring Cauldrons to get his hand empty, then activates a Ron Youngest Brother. Oh, wow. Very nice activation on Ron Youngest Brother. The Self-Stirring Cauldron gave you, puts the action back. So the first thing that Frank did was he discarded 2 cards to gain an action, puts him at 3. Then he plays a Self-Stirring Cauldron, which keeps him at 3. Then he activates Ron Youngest Brother, which puts him to 2. And now he's trying to eye up lethal here, because he's able to get to 9, but then it only brings him down to 1 action. But he can get to 9, he can chill. Hannah Abbott is here, and he's got the VTJs in the discard pile. So he's looking at trying to kill pretty soon here. He's probably going to pass, and just kind of contemplating his future turn, thinking about what his opponent can do to mess it up. Meanwhile, things are pretty scary on Michael's side. Oh, sorry. Oh, I didn't even notice Through the Arch. It doesn't matter. Through the Arch is irrelevant because McGonagall's down here. This is actually just like a waste of 2 actions. Frank is going to use Madame Pomfrey to heal up here. Makes sense. Yeah, he's going to heal. You leave 2 VTJs in there, but you heal up a bunch of other stuff. Make sure that you don't get killed because he's got... he's only got 4 actions here, but he's got the Beetle Eyes and the Eel Eyes, so you know he can get the Bulge Eye potions. There are 2 in his hand, but he's still got plenty in the deck. I imagine he's at least got 1 more, but maybe 2 more even. I'd hope there's at least 3. And then he's going to start trying to throw items at Frank's head, so Frank wants to make sure that he definitely is at least above the 23 card kill range, which means he needs more than 24 cards in his deck. So he's definitely going to need to heal with Pomfrey here, and that's what he's doing. He's deciding what cards to put back in. We're seeing him make that choice on the right. Excuse me. Oh, this is the Piranha Plants Fall Asleep song. Love this. I was like, why is this familiar? Alright, so Frank heals 12 cards. Shuffles up. Now Michael is healing some cards of his own with his Silver Unicorn Horn. Looks like he's going to put Lucius's Cane and a Self-Stirring back into the deck. The funny thing is he doesn't have anything in his discard pile left to heal, right? He's got 3 cards in his discard pile, 41 in deck, because everything's on the damn field. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards on the field, 4 in hand. And Frank's still about to, he's still eyeing up that VTJ kill. Doesn't have the Colin Creevy. Doesn't have, Dobby's in hand, but still looking for that combo there. He's got 2 VTJs in here just like we thought. He takes a bunch of damage from a Bullseye is what I assume, and it doesn't get him. He does draw a Grip Hook, and Grip Hook is definitely it, right? Because he plays the Grip Hook, and then he does the big VTJ kill. I think he's got him, right? So Frank runs out Grip Hook, discards. Oh, maybe not, because of it's hard for him to get the action because he needs to gain. So he trades 2 cards from his hand for 2 VTJs. Oh no, it looks like he's taking a different approach. I guess he discarded those to gain an action, probably. So now we're healing with Snape. Yeah, I think we're just being real careful here and make sure that we can survive long enough to combo out. So what he opted to do is he played the last 2 potions from hand. Then activated Ron, youngest brother, and drew 5. Then he's tapping Humphrey, or sorry, not Humphrey, Snape, and he's gonna heal 7. He's gonna pass the turn. So we're able to, we have Eli's and Beetle Eyes combos all day to go get more Bullseye potions from the deck, but we've got 2 in our hand already. And if we activate it, it costs an action, and then it costs an action to throw the potion. so it's only 13 damage for 2 actions. Or we could get it into play, and then we could Arthur it, and that's also just 10 damage for 2 actions. We really need a third action, but we can only get one by if we manually play the Bullseye. We don't have a self-stirring or anything like that in hand, so unfortunately, as close as it feels like we are, I think we're just not there yet for Michael. I don't even know exactly what we do with this turn. We certainly sack an Eli Beetle-Eye combo to get a Bullseye on the table, unless we only play 2 in the deck, which is real rough. Can you imagine if we only play 2 of them and they're both just sitting in our hand? That'd be major yikes. Misbrewed Polyjuice is coming down. Thank God Frank healed. That's going to be a lot of damage. But again, he was more aware of it this time. It looks like he took 12 damage this time. He's been healing all those characters back into the deck because he knows about the Polyjuice now. And he's going to disable Hannah Abbott, so she loses all of her abilities until the end of next turn. Actually, a really good play and unique to Revival, making sure that Hannah isn't able to get Frank the win out of the discard pile next turn. Frank is sneaky holding onto a VTJ in his hand already, but isn't quite there as far as ready to activate any kind of kill. Wants to stay in the game a little longer here. The fact that Michael isn't going and getting the Bullseye potions out of the deck says to me that he does in fact play just 2 and that they're sitting in his hand. I mean, maybe he's still opting just to not get one, but it just feels like so much free damage for Arthur and stuff. Frank is drawing a card, praying his opponent doesn't have another one of these. Misbrewed Polyjuice. That is brutal against the deck. And Frank says GG. Is it GG? Not over yet, right? Because we can only use Arthur once per turn. Frank says GG because he assumes he can kill him. He assumes that Michael's got it. But Michael doesn't have a Bullseye left in the deck, dude. They're sitting in his hand. That's what Frank doesn't get. Frank's assuming that he's just waiting to activate it. And he's sitting, they're parked in his hand. Oh my goodness. I mean, what are the chances, right? That like all of the ones in the deck are sitting here. Yeah, oh my god, there's only 2 in the deck and both are in his hand, dude. That is, oh no. Oh, the cursed. He's cursed, bro. Frank's like, sure, Surely you can kill me here. Frank is going to use Impersonating Goyle. This is really neat. He knocks Arthur Weasley out of play, and he gets himself a grip hook. Pomfrey, interesting. Maybe no grip hooks left in the deck. That's fine, it doesn't matter. Either way, you're probably just discarding the thing with Hannah Abbott. Yep, we're going to use Hannah Abbott, and we're going to go get... Oh, wait, we're not using Hannah Abbott. We're passing. So Frank gained an action, then he used Impersonating Goyle. That's it, right? Why did he draw a card? I'm confused. Is it his turn? Seems like Frank didn't use his actions. I'm sure he did something I just missed. Or that was all at the end of that one turn. Maybe still. So we play a self-stirring, which gives us plus actions, but we still aren't even sniffing 10. That's crazy. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no. You don't want to play flying car. You don't want to like just do nothing. You don't have an Arthur to throw some extra damage at him. I mean, like, you play this and you play the car, right? Or do you just draw it? Yikes. I mean, this is... You got to get these cards out of your hand. Play the card, play the potion. Yeah, alright, yeah, I mean, yeah, you got it. You got to get these cards out of your hand. You can't live like this. You can't live like this with all these cards in your hand when he's sitting here ready to triple, double, triple, quadruple, super VTJ you. That's like his win condition. You make sure you dump those cards. Alright, Frank has drawn one, and he's going to use McGonagall to get out of Through the Arch. I mean, we always knew this was coming. Through the Arch is just sitting here doing nothing until Frank decides he's going to get rid of it. Now he Hannah's for 2 more VTJs, discards 2 cards, and plays this, and that's just gonna absolutely make his opponent draw his entire deck, alright? So, his opponent's got 3 cards in his hand, right? Frank's gonna discard 2 cards to gain an action, then he's gonna trade 2 cards from his hand for 2 copies of this card from his discard pile. So he'll have 3 of this card in his hand, and 3 actions, okay? Then he'll cast it 3 times, and his opponent will draw out their entire deck. So this card is count the number of cards in your opponent's hand. He or she draws twice that many cards. We have 3, right? Which means they're going to draw 6 on the first one, so they'll have 9. Then they're going to draw 18 on the next one. And then after that one, got, you know, whatever. They have 9 plus 18. So they're going to draw 27 times 2. They're going to draw, yeah, exactly, their whole deck. Way more than 37. Yep, there's the first VTJ, the second VTJ, and the third VTJ. Yeah, he draws 6. He draws 18. $54. They're mathing it out. Yeah, but wow, what a crazy game at the end there. I mean, Frank even saying GG and his opponent being like, no, we have to continue. We have to continue. Unfortunately, as much as he wanted to be able to end the game, he's sitting there with the 2 copies of Bullseye Potion in his hand. Even though he has 2 Beetle Eyes and 2 Eel Eyes in play, he can't use the action for the ability to discard them and play one of those from inside his deck because they're sitting there in his hand and he can't afford to play them from his hand. Just really stuck, and it's a shame, man. Real bad luck on his end. But what a great series between these 2 players. Really close games. Cool stuff. Cool stuff indeed. Well, that's it for our Harry Potter stream, guys. I'm literally gonna hit I'm gonna hit end stream, and I'm gonna swap things over in just a second here, and we're gonna get run one of these Kefka and Narsha runs real quick as we've been doing all week. But thanks